Hello, welcome once again, whoever you are, wherever you're watching from, or whenever you're watching, to our daily Limbus Company Mirror Dungeon run and book reading session. Today, we will be doing another achievement run, much like yesterday, and we will continue our reading of Yisang's selected works. Now, we did stop yesterday at the beginning of another story, so I decided not to go forward with it instead of, reading one page and then continue on after that. As per usual, the rules will be like that, because I quite enjoy the system. We will be doing the mirror dungeon, hunting for our achievement, and today our achievement is to, give as much PTSD to Cassetti as possible, and then we will count every single combat node, including bosses, that we have completed, and that will be the number of pages of the book we're going to be reading after the mirror dungeon is complete. I quite enjoyed that system. I think it worked pretty well. It separates the mirror dungeon time with the reading time, and it was pretty good. I have already assembled the team before because I think it was taking too much time assembling the team, but we are going to go over it together. So, as per usual, we are going to start by studying the IDs that we are going to be using in combat today. In this case, the Blood Fiends. I know I have already used the Blood Fiends in the past, but today we're going to be using them again, so I think they deserve another look. And I do think I'm doing a better job at understanding how these IDs work. Starting with, once again, Manager of La Mancha Land, Don Quixote. Now, she possesses 193 HP, 4 to 7 speed, 60 defense level, is weak to slash, but resistant to pierce. I do want to correct something. Last string, I talked about how we want to avoid Inquisitors, because this still fucks me over. I still think this the resistance here is reverse, but they really should just put this as multipliers, honestly. It is a multiplier, but instead of saying resistance, you think, like, I have 2 times resistance against slash, so I'm resistant against slash. No. But, again, jargon and all that. So I misspoke that time. Anyway. She possesses the scene of Sloth, Wrath, and Lust, with a passive about Blood Feast, so we already know how Blood Feast work. Every time someone takes damage from bleed, be it an ally or an enemy, Blood Feast is dropped on the floor. And then when a Blood Fiend unit uses its skill, they consume Blood Feast. Tasty. In the case of Dawn, she is the highest ranking kindred we have access to, so she will always drink first. Her unique passive is the variant Sancho Hardblood Arts, which empowers her skill as she gains more Hardblood. We already seen this yesterday, so we're not going to go over it again. If an ally, when 3 other allies from La Mancha Land are defeated, she gains Responsibility, which gives her another Clash Power, which is a nice little thing. And her passive, Armadura de Sangre. Attack end. If the enemy is defeated, increase Blood Feast by 10% of its target's max HP, 100 per turn for focus encounters if the part is broken. Gain 1 damage up next turn for a 15% missing HP at turn end, sort of like a Berserk ability, low health equals more damage. If an ally is about to be defeated from bleed damage, she prevents the death from bleed damage. And before we continue, I forgot to turn on the sound of the game. There we go, that's much better. Ha! Imagine going to the mirror dungeon and I have no sound. In any case, if we are going to be deploying every single Blood Fiend ID today, we are going to be looking at the enhanced versions of her skills as well. Skill 1 is a 3-4-4, 11 roller, much like the new generation skill units that I call it new generation, it's really not. This is in 5, I guess. They follow this same trend of a skill 1 being a 11 roller and then going to 13 and then 15. The same thing here, and it's based on bleed on target. And she consumes up to 50 blood pieces to gain hard blood. And she has a built-in healing on that. Her enhanced version is a 4-3-3-3-3, making it a 14 roller with 2 unbreakable coins. She heals, again, per hit. She gains coin power based on bleed on target to a maximum of 2. So this skill, which is already a 11 plus 13 roller, hold on, at 3-3-9, at 13 roller, it goes to 16 and then 19. Yeah, it's escalates 3 by 3. So coin power plus 1, gains 20 bleed on use, and inflicts 1 more bleed on hit for every 10 hard blood on self to a maximum of 2. And at attack end, she consumes 10 hard blood. It's an unbreakable coin, the second and the third coin, and inflicts bleed. Plenty of bleed. And the final one activates the bleed on target, losing 1 bleed count. Now, the problem with Blood Fiend is while they have very high bleed potency application, they have very low count application. It sort of, think of it like this. There is a trickle of blood constantly coming out, but not a lot of it. So we are dripping in little bits of blood. Skill true, let all blossom free. This is my favorite skill of La Mancha Dawn because it can have an AoE. It gains attack weight +1 for every 10 hard blood on self to a maximum of 2. As has a built-in heal, it has consuming blood feast, same as before, but it requires more blood feast consumed to gain hard blood. And it gains coin power based on bleed on target to a maximum of 2. This skill is a 16 roller, and then it becomes an 18, and then finally a 20 roller. The variant is the Split Apart, a 4-3-3-3-3 attack, so it is a 13 roller with built-in attack weight and a 63 offense level. It has the built-in heal, gains coin power for every 6 bleed on target, probably the main target, so we can go for 4-4-4 and then 4-5-5-5, making this roll a maximum of 19. It inflicts true bleed, and on the final one, it deals more damage based on bleed on target to a maximum of 25%. And it deals more damage based on how much blood feast the unit has consumed, the shared one, not for this particular unit, for every unit, every single blood fiend we have around. We have already seen the skill tree. It is a fantastic skill. The final hit on the enhanced version causes the enemy to explode in blood and then bleed everywhere, which is pretty nice. And finally, her defense skill, Laughter Shall Subside, gets enhanced to Variant Sunshine Hardblood Arts, the build-up to the finale. It's a 6-5-5, making this a 16 roller base. Combat start. 2. 3 plus highest resonance divided by 2 allies. With the least HP, she applies 1 plus Hardboiled divided by 10 Shimmering Blood Fiend for every 40 Blood Fiend consumed. Okay. Then consume half of the Hard Blood on self, once per ally, rounded down. Shimmering Blood Fiend is essentially a shield that we apply to our allies. So when our friendly Blood Fiend units are low on health, it is advisable to use our counter here, especially if it's enhanced, to give them everyone a nice little shield. So that is done. For her today, we are going to be using the following Eagles. We are going to be using Yearning Mirkala, La Sangre de Santo, which is the base one, Wishing Cairn, and Red Sheet. Wishing Cairn is here mostly for the passive that gives us poise when we defeat an enemy with bleed, while Red Sheet gives us a critical hit, inflicts defense level down. Welcome Vigigola, and welcome Melise Rarely. I do believe that this is your first time here on the stream. Welcome. I do apologize for the dogs barking on the background. I forgot to close my window. I will solve that in a moment. In any case, welcome. We are just finishing reviewing the manager of La Mancha Land Dawn, and we're going to move on to Princess of La Mancha Land, the Rodion. Now, Rodion here stands at 243 HP, 4 to 7 speed, 63 defense level. She is resistant against Pierce, but fatal against Flash. She possesses the sin of Pride, Envy, and Lust, with an empowered Lust skill tree and a clashable counter. There is also Lust. Her passive is Blood Feast, much like Dawn. We already know what Blood Feast is, but to reiterate, every time an enemy takes bleed damage, anytime any unit takes any bleed damage, Blood Feast is generated, and the Blood Fiends consume Blood Feast when they use their skills to enhance them somehow. Hard Blood Torn is her active passive. It's a Tree Lust and True Envy own passive. When another ally takes bleed damage or consumes Blood Feast, this unit gains Blooming Thorn 5 times per turn. Heals HP on self by 20% of the damage dealt using base skills, max 10 per skill, and at max HP, heal one ally that has the lowest HP percentage by excess healing. In other words, she has the built-in healing from Manager of La Mancha Land, but unlike the manager, it is on her passive, not her skills. So until we activate this passive, which shouldn't be a problem, she will not have the... Well, technically it's a lifesteal, but not really. In any case, Blooming Thorn. It is a buff with a max value of 10. It has stage 1 Blooming Thorn, stage 2, and I believe it's stage 3 as well. Gain 1 defense level for every true stack to a maximum of 5. When hit, it inflicts 1 bleed against the attacker and loses 1 stack. The Princess of Lamentia land Rodion only at max stack convert to the next stage of this effect. Inflict plus stage -1 more bleed and rupture potency using this unit's base attack skill coin effect. Revert to previous stage when the stack dropped below the requirement. So here we have it. When an ally is on low, takes bleed or consumes Blood Feast, she will gain Blooming Thorn 5 times per turn maximum. Since we are all using Blood Fiends, every time I think we have 5 Blood Fiends and they all consume Blood Feast, assuming we have enough Blood Feast, or when an ally takes bleed damage, because a lot of these Blood Fiends apply self-bleed, it pretty much guarantees that every turn we're going to be gaining 5 Blooming Thorns. This has a maximum stack of 10, so in 2 turns it already goes to the second level. And she has the healing. So this is pretty much, she's a tank unit, as denoted by her high defense level, and this just makes her even better because she will be applying Rupture and Bleed, which is quite unusual. I didn't expect the Blood Fiends to have any Rupture, since that's kind of their weakness. Anyway, let's take a look at her skills now. Begone, a 3/4/4 skill following the same pattern of 11 rollers on skill 1, has a 61 offense level. On self and one ally that has the highest max HP, consume up to 20 Blood Feast and apply 1 Blooming Thorn for every 10 Blood Feast this unit consume 2 times per turn. It prioritizes Blood Fiend allies. If the affected ally is a Blood Fiend, this unit applies 1 additional Blooming Thorn, and if this unit fails to consume Blood Feast, she gains Bleed. It has a coin power for every 6 bleed on target. Once again, it follows the same pattern, 11, 13, and then a 15. It inflicts 1 bleed and 1 rupture. In other words, her skill 1 applies Blooming Thorn to allies if she has Blood Feast to consume, and applies more Blooming Thorn to herself, making her even more tanky. Remember, defense level acts as the character's armor. This reduces the damage based on the difference between defense level and defense level when we actually get hit. If we don't get hit, that is not a problem. But still, there is the option here, because if anyone does manage to win a clash or does a one-sided attack, we will... Oh, one-sided attack and unbreakable coins as well. We will reduce the damage and inflict a nice little amount of bleed on the character. Skill 2, in finally Ground Mistfall. It's a 4/4/4, making this a 16 roller. A baseline for skill 2 of the new generation. It has an attack weight of 1, 62 offense level. Combat start. On self and one ally that has the lowest max HP, it applies 1 attack power-up, consume up to 30 Blood Feast, and apply 1 Blooming Thorn for every 10 Blood Feast this unit consume 2 times per turn. Prioritize Blood Fiend allies. If the affected ally is a Blood Fiend, this unit applies additional 1 attack power-up and 2 Blooming Thorn. If this unit failed to consume Blood Feast, gain bleed, and here we have our coin power for every 6 bleed on target, making this a 16, 19, and then a 22 roller. It inflicts 2 rupture count and 2 bleed count, which is very important for us, as well as inflicting 1 rupture and 1 bleed. So our focus here on this skill is the fact that it can buff up allies with 2 extra power, which is incredibly good, as well as the Blooming Thorn. And most importantly, the bleed count. As we have seen from Manager of La Mancha Land Dawn, we don't have a lot of bleed count application, but she can apply 2. So for Rodion, focus skill 2 on apply bleed count. Very good. Finally, for the skill 3, the festival will end, and then the upgraded version, Ascendant Don Quixote Hardblood Arts, the finale. Let's see the first one. It's a 4/4/4, a 16 roller with 63 offense level and no attack weight. Before use, if she's at 25 Blooming Thorn, she activates the empowered version of her attack, the finale. On use, if the target has 6 bleed, it gains additional coin power, making it a 19 roller. To self and highest resonance allies apply 3+1 for every 50 Blood Feast consumed by this unit, Festive Fever this turn and the next turn, for a maximum of 10. Festive Fever is a buff, has a maximum value of 10, expires at the turn end, against targets that have bleed, deals more damage for every attack, so 15% more damage. Skills that consume or gain Blood Feast deal 3% damage for every stack, instead up to 30%. So she just adds a nice little damage buff for everyone if we are doing a high resonance. To self and highest resonance allies, she also applies Blooming Thorn. So this is the thing we have to watch out for her skill tree. Rather than the Blooming Thorn max cap here, which we get a nice visual effect when a skill tree is empowered, is the fact that we want to do a high resonance for the skill tree to give that nice little damage bonus for everyone. Very good. This first coin inflicts 1 bleed count, and the following coins just inflict bleed and rupture. Not the highest application, but again on the mirror dungeon we fix that with Ego Gift. We fix deficiency with luxury. The empowered skill tree, Ascendant Don Quixote Hardblood Arts, the Finale. It's a 4/5/5 with an attack weight of 3. Meaning that attack rolls a natural 19, it gains a coin power if the target has 6 bleed, making this a 4/6/6/6, very cursed, making it a 12, 18, and then a 22. It has the same Festive Fever effect as the empowered version, but with higher application starting out. It will self and highest resonance allies apply 5 plus 1 for every 50 blood feast, that is unit, blah blah blah, turn and the next. To self and highest resonance allies apply Blooming Thorn, same as before, it just applies more Blooming Thorn. And finally, at the end, she consumes all the Blooming Thorn on herself, essentially resetting her resources. These are very similar to Charge in the way they work. Blood Feast is very similar to Charge, considerably Blood Charge. You gather up this effect, this power, to be able to empower your attacks. In the case of Blooming Thorn, Hard Blood for Don Quixote, it's essentially Blood Charge. Blood Charge sounds cool. It inflicts Rupture count, Bleed count, and additional bleed. She's not the very best at activating bleed, but she has a lot of buffs for our team. Finally, we have the Clashable counter. Don Quixote Hardblood's Arts 15, the Parasol. It's a 5/4/4, making this a 13 roller. Reduces the bleed count by 3 for 2 other allies that have the highest bleed potency times count value, and increase blood feast by the reduction bleed potency count reduced. If this effect reduces bleed count to 0, bleed expires. If this effect allies the Blood Fiend, reduce their bleed count by 2 more. Gain 4 Blooming Thorn, inflicts bleed and bleed count. In other words, if our allies are drowning in bleed, she will, put a little band-aid on top of it and call it a day. She reduces the bleed and gains blood feast by the amount of bleed reduced without doing any damage. So this, together with our Priest of La Mancha Land that applies self-bleed a lot, will synergize. So Clashable counter synergizes with Priest. Very nice, very cool. For Ego, we will be taking with her Parasite Corrosion, Pursuance, and Sanguine Desire. I think I don't need to explain why we're taking Sanguine Desire, because of the amount of blood potency she inflicts on the passive, and the fact that she turns bleed into fairy from Library of Ruina. Skill tree is a basic heal, and also, gives healing. And this one here is mostly for the passive, that gives us Unbind per hit with his Pierce skill, and she has only Pierce skills. With that said, finished with Princess of La Mancha Land, let's move on to the Prince of La Mancha Land. Yes, Merso. Merso has 271 health, 4 to 7 speed, 62 defense level. He is resistant against slash, but fatal against blunt. And this is the idea of the character that we're going to be torturing today on stream, because we're going to have to fight him twice, and we're literally taking his entire family to go visit him by surprise on his new home. And it's going to be fun, just like, an unannounced visit of your relatives in your house when you're least expecting it. In any case, his passive, Blood Feast, much like the others, and Responsibility of a Former Prince. Turn start. The following effect activate for La Mancha Land in the identities that have Mac Hardblood Armor stack. Gain 1 Focus Performance. When staggered due to damage, recover from stagger, then consume all Hardblood Armor on self, once per stage per identity excluding forced staggers. Focus Performance is a buff with 3 stacks. For La Mancha identities only, includes empowered skills. Skill 1 and 2 gain final power +1, deals more damage for every stack. Skill 3 gains 2 final powers and deal 10% more damage for every stack. Loses 1 stack when its Skill 3 attack ends, or if this unit does not have Hardblood Armor at turn start. Hard Blood Armor is another buff that has a max attack of 5. If this unit isn't at max HP, after its Q attack heals 10% of the HP damage dealt once per turn, maximum of 40. So it's giving us another lifesteal on top of the existing lifesteal that the Blood Fiends usually have. Attack end, if this unit dealt HP damage, loses 1 stack. If Lust Resonance was activated, half the amount of HP healed, but do not lose any Hard Blood Armor stack. So to maintain this effect functioning, we want to keep going with Lust Resonance, which is already kind of the idea. If the Princess of La Mancha Run Rodeo is on the field, she and the Prince of La Mancha Lounge both deal more damage using their skill tree, including empowered skills. Finally, his active passive is the Tree Lust and Tree Pride owned. Combat start. If this unit has Hard Blood Armor, gain the following effects based on the stack. At 3+ stack, he gains offense level up and defense level up. And at 4+ stack, he gains True Haste next turn. Combat start. If this unit has Focus Performance, inflict 1 La Mancha Land Parade on hit against enemies, 2 times per turn, including Eagle skills. Now, what is La Mancha Land Parade? La Mancha Land Parade, max attack of 4, takes 10% more damage from Lust skills. If the target is the La Mancha Land identity, take 20% damage regardless of the skill affinity. At max stack, deals negative 20% damage against La Mancha Land identities. Loses 1 stack after either these units' skills hits and ends or after the skill that attacked this unit hits and ends. Very nice, very nice. It's essentially a Giga debuff to an enemy, and it stacks several times. It doesn't stack several times, it just has many applications of it. So, nice little extra damage. On hit against enemies that have bleed, if this unit has less than 30% HP, he heals 30% HP. Once per encounter, rounded down. So he has a Giga healing built in onto his kit with basically no activation. Ah, Donis Canelli, well, hello, welcome. Beat Kanto 8 today, congratulations! Well, let's take a look at his skills, shall we? March Conductor. It's a 2-3-3-3-3, a 11 roller. On use, on self and one ally that has the lowest max HP, consume up to 10 Blood Feasts and apply 1 Hard Blood Armor for every 5 Blood Feasts this unit consumed. Once per turn, excludes allies that have max stacks. It prioritizes La Mancha Land and Blood Fiend higher critical allies. If the effect ally is the La Mancha Land, this unit applies 1 additional Hard Blood Armor. If this unit fails to consume Blood Feasts, he gains Bleed. If the target has 4 Bleed, he gains Coin Power. If the target has 3 Bleed count, he gains another Final Power. Now, this is an 11 roller with a Coin Power of 3. This big Coin Power plus 1, it becomes a 14 roller. And if the target has a lot of Bleed count, that's another Final Power, it becomes a 15 roller, as we expected. Has 1 Bleed count. The skill true, same as before, consumes blood feast to apply hard blood armor, and if the ally is from La Mancha Land, that's more hard blood armor. If this unit fails to consume, that's bleed. It gains the coin power, against final power based on count. It's a 4-6-6, making this a 16 roller. So with coin power plus 2, this becomes the 8-8-4, so 620 roller maximum, with a final power plus 1 for every 3 bleed count on target to a maximum of 2. This can become a 22 roller. Deals more damage for every hard blood armor on self, inflicts nice amount of bleed count here on hit, and less fragility, as well as rupture. I don't know what the hell they're doing with rupture, but I guess it's the gluttony tin, right? And they are very thirsty. Skill tree, let us wear the coagulated mantle of blood. It's a 4-3-3-3-3-3, making this a 15 roller with a 64 offense level. On hit with the skill, heals 40% of the HP damage dealt, max 80 per skill. Before use, at 5 hard blood armor, he activates the empowered version instead. Coin power plus 1 for every 6 bleed on target, making this a 4-4-4-4-4, and then a 5-5-5-5-5. So 4-4-4-4-4, that to a 16 becomes a 20, and then it becomes a 24. On use, apply 1 hard blood armor to self and highest resonance allies 2 times per turn. Up to 4 allies prioritize La Mancha Land first and Blood Fiend higher crit second. Exclude allies that have max stack. If it was a Lust Resonance, apply 2 hard blood to 2 allies that have the lowest max HP as well. If the target is defeated, increase Blood Feast by additional 20. It hits fixed bleed count, bleed, and inflicts La Mancha Parade on the final coin. And finally, his big skill, the Overture. It's the same as before, heals by hit, gains clash power based on bleed on target, deals more damage based on bleed count on the main target, applies true hard blood armor to highest resonance allies, and if the ally was fundamental and it goes first, and if it was the last resonance, that's another hard blood armor. At the end of the attack, it consumes all the hard blood armor on itself, and if the skill defeats the target, it gives more blood beast. So he's an excellent support character with a very good AoE attack. Finally, we have the clashable counter. We're gonna be here a while talking. There's two more blood fiends to go, I believe. True? Yeah, true. Coagulation, a 5/4/4. On use to 2 allies, including this unit, he applies 5 bleed and activated once. They reduce their bleed count by 1. Once per turn, prioritized allies that have the most hard blood armor does not activate it for higher kindreds. This damage does not reduce the allies' HP below 1. Clash Wing, he gains 1 hard blood armor. In other words, this boy here, he forces bleed into our team and forces it to activate, giving us a nice little amount of blood feast, jump-starting our blood feast consumption. Very interesting, very cool. For Eagles, we are going to be taking Screw Loose Wallop for no particular reason. We're going to be taking Pursuance for the healing. And finally, Yearning Merkala because it's the bleed gift. I don't know what it does. Let's move on to... we saw Princess, Prince, Manager, and now we have the Barber and the Priest. Many would say that they are spiritually double OIDs, but I quite like the swag she has going on here. So, the Barber of La Mancha Land. Standing at 207 HP, 3 to 7 speed, and 60 defense level, she is resistant against slash but fatal against blunt. She possesses the scene of Gluttony, Lust, Wrath, and a Gluttony clashable counter. Much like the other Blood Fiend IDs, she has a Blood Feast passive and a 3 Lust Resonance Wrong costume. In a clash against suing target, she gains more clash power. On hit, she deals more damage for every 10 Blood Feast she consumed by herself. And on hit, she deals additional damage for every bleed on target to a maximum of 10%. It's a very simple ID with damage, extra damage. So that's 40% more damage with all the conditions here meet. Let's look at her skills. The first one is Suing, a 11 roller, 3/4/4 with a 61 offense level. It has the built-in healing, much like Manager Dawn. It has the consumption of Blood Feast to gain her unique blood charge here, Blood Tinged Scissor Blades. If the unit failed to consume, she also gains bleed count. Oh, that's dangerous. It's not even bleed, it's bleed count. But we don't have to worry about bleed count because if you use Rhodia's clashable counter, it eats up the bleed without dealing damage. Let me just do here. Prince forces bleed on other counter. Alright, it gains 1 coin power for every 6 bleed on target, following the usual escalation of 11, 13, 15. It inflicts suing target. If the target is a suing target, it gives +1 count. It's a unique mark from her. So it takes more damage from bleed. Alright, and how do we apply suing target? I assume it's for her skill tree. We shall be seeing it in a moment. Skill 2, Scission, a 4/4/4/4, making it a 16 roller, which is the baseline for modern IDs to have a 16 roller skill. At 63 offense level, a 16 roller skill 2, sorry. On hit with the skill has the healing, has the blood feast consumption for a unique blood charge. It has the, if you fail to consume, you gain bleed, gains point power based on bleed on target. Just 1, making this a 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, going for a 16 to a 15 to a 19 roller. My apologies. On hit, it inflicts 1 bleed. If the target is a suing target, that's additional bleed. More bleed, and for the 3rd hit of her skill 2, she applies the mark. So, Barber, skill 2, marks target. Very good, very nice. And finally, for her skill tree and her enhanced skill tree. No, wait, there is no enhancement. It just gets powered up. Anyway, it is a tree, making this a 14 roller. 14? No, 15 roller with a 65 attack, 65 offense level. It has the self-heal on hit. It escalates the power based on her blood charge, the Blood Stinger Scissor Blades. At 10 plus, it gains an attack weight, and at 20 plus, it gains 2 attack weight instead. If the user has 5 bleed, it gains coin power. And now for this amount of coin, this is pretty good. So making this a 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So for 4, 4, 4, that's 16 plus 3, that's a 90. Bogomo Karsking, hello, welcome to the stream. Clash power plus 1 for every 6 bleed on target. It consumes 10 blood tinge scissor blade for every attack weight gained. If the target is skilled, increases blood feast by 20, regain half of the blood tinge scissor blade consumed by this skill once per turn. If the target is the sealing target, it additionally increases blood feast by 20 more and gain 5 blood tinge scissor blades per turn. Should I get Hanafuda Ishmael or someone like Middle Ishmael? Hanafuda Ishmael is crazy good, but so is Kira Ishmael. So Barber, on kill with skill 3 against market recover resources. Very nice. And there we go. So the basic here for Barber of La Mancha Land is mark someone with a skill 2 and then focus on that target to kill him so you can keep going with the enhancement of your blood tinge scissor blazes here. Very nice, very cool. Let's move on. Quite the Scorches clashable counter, a 7/6. 7/6. It's a 13 roller, and it gains base power based on blood tinge scissor blade, and gains coin power for every 5 bleed on self. So if you're bleeding out, you can use this to gain a little bit more to, you know, counter whatever is attacking you. Very cool. For Eagles, we're going to be taking the scissors because, yes, it's the Scissor ID. We're going to be using scissors. For the second Eagle, we're going to be using Stun Tower for the protection and poise. The Ebony 10 because there were no other better options, even though pierce damage doesn't apply to us. And finally Binds because why the hell not? Finally, last but certainly not least, the Priest of La Mancha Land, Gregor. Standing at 313 HP, 4 to 6 speed, and 65 defense level with a resistance against blunt, but a weakness to pierce damage. Possessing the sins of gluttony, the sin of pride, and the sin of lust with a block lust. Her passive is Blood Feast, much like any other Blood Fiend ID, and his self-destructive dedication. At turn end, he heals 10 negative Alien Heart SP for the ally with the least SP, excluding self or allies that are panicked or corroded. In this encounter, when this unit takes damage that brings their HP down to 0, nullify that damage. Then, this unit's HP cannot drop below 1 for 1 turn. This is a very common passive that we have seen in some IDs. Essentially, I don't die for 1 turn, but next one I will. Skill 1. 344, 11 roller, gains aggro, gains coin power based on bleed on target, following again the same escalation of 11, 13, and then 15. Gains 10 bleed on use, and at 50 plus HP gains 15 additional bleed. So he gains 25 bleed by just using his own attack. It inflicts 2 bleed, inflicts 1 rupture, and gains 3 bloody hand. Bloody hand is his unique blood charge. So you gain 3 when the skill 1. Skill 2 is Suffocating Guilt, a 14 roller attack. 14 roller? No, 16 roller, which is the baseline for skill 2. Gains aggro, gains coin power for escalation. So we have a 16 and an 18 and then a 20 roller. No, wait, just twice. So 16, 18, 20 roller. It gains 10 bleed on use. At 5 plus Alien Heart, he consumes up to 60 blood feast and then gains 1 bloody hand for every 6 blood feast consumed. At less than 5 Alien Heart, gains 10 bleed and 5 bloodied hand. Inflicts 2 bleed count, 1 rupture, and gains 3 bloodied hand. So this character can gain a lot of bloody hand from his skill 2. And bloody hand is necessary for his upgraded skill 3. And finally, the skill 3, the Unforgivable Sin. It's a 5/4/4/4. Making this a 17 roller, I believe. It has healing on hit, unlike the other skills. Deals more damage for every missing HP on self, sort of like a berserk ability. So less health equals more damage. If the target has bleed, it gains another coin power, turning this into a 20 roller. Consume every active stack of bloodied hand past 10 to gain the following effects. He heals himself, If this unit consumes 10 stacks, he gains additional coin power. If the unit consumes 20 stacks, he reuses the final coin on the hit. And finally, gains 10 bleed. After the attack ends, he heals 10 HP on self. So this is how Priest Gregor maintains his vitality going. He will keep bleeding himself to feed blood feasts to the other blood fiends, but with his skill tree, he basically recovers all the HP he has lost. And with the support from Princess of La Mancha Land, you can deny the damage from bleed altogether. In any case, finally, Faded Patience. At combat start, if he's at more than 40% HP, he gains 5 bleed and activate bleed on self up to 3 times. Once per turn, and lose bleed count equal to the number of times it activated. At less than 40% HP, he consumes Blood Feast to heal the same value as HP. And on combat start, he gains 3 Ailing Heart. Ailing Heart is a buff that gives him defense level up for every 3 stacks, gains more defense level up when low on health, and on hit with the base skills, he heal based on the damage dealt up to 30%. And it decays at turn end per 1 per 1. For Eagles, we're going to be taking Legermain because it's good, Lantern for healing in emergencies, Solid Lament because I didn't have other better options, and Garden of Thorns because I didn't have any better options. And that's it. That concludes our review of the Blood Fiends. Now we are going to be deploying into the Mirror Dungeon proper. But before that, what have I chosen to support then? Well, you can see a lot of ring IDs here because I need Starlight, and we're going to use a lot of it today. We are going to be taking Yisang ring point list for the SP heal. We're going to be taking the ring Faust for if you hit us, you get bleed. We're going to be taking Encorp Ryoshu for the additional bleed application. Right here, one blade it applies 1 bleed count as well. It's a Lust Resonance, but we are already going for luck. We're taking also House of Fighters Ring Nurse Father because of the offense level down and extra bleed count on hit. Kurokumo Clan Wakashu Heatclip is here for the extra damage on enemies that use block or are full health. Kurokumo Ishmael is for the additional bleed, potency or count on a 3 Lust Resonance. Zoi Association Sinclair is here for no reason at all. It just gives us more defense level up and haste. We could equip the Maracas Boy, but I'd rather have the defense right now. And that is it. That is our team. Let us deploy proper into the Mirror Dungeon. Ooh, that was a lot of yapping. Right. Our goal here today is to complete the loadout achievement. I think it's a loadout achievement. Hold on. There we go. Defeat the Fate of 5, Murder of the Warp Express, Murder of the Warp Express Bokgak, La Mancha Land Reopening, the Infinite Procession, and the Dream Ending Theme Park with the manager of La Mancha Land Don Quixote Identity on the field. And the other one here, which is Defeat the Murder on the Warp Express Bokgak with 4 or more Bloodfiend identities. So we're going to be hunting for a lot of packs today. So I'm going to take that achievement over here at the loadout. And I'm going to take a little screenshot of it so I remember what I have to do. So Warp Bokgak, the Reopening, the Infinite Procession, and the Dream Ending. All right. So it's very likely that we are going for a 6th floor dungeon today rather than our usual 5, but that is perfectly fine. Here we go. We are going to be taking Favor of the Nebulae. Bro, how are you mean Big Brother Heathcliff is a good ID? How are you mean Big Brother Heathcliff is a good ID? I think he's going to be an excellent ID. It's one that we've been waiting for a long time, Bogomokar. It's been waiting for a long time. I would be surprised if he wasn't good. And even if he isn't that good, he's still on the middle team. The middle team is amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on that. Right, here we go. Of course, we're going to be taking the bleed. So we're taking Wood Clarity for that extra bleed potency application. And I guess we could take some gifts to start with. His base number. I think we're gonna get it on the way, so no need to waste more of my Starlight on this. I gotta save it up for our Extreme Mirror Dungeon that is coming up. Forgot to change the loading screen again, as per usual, but that's no problem. So, First true floors, I believe we can't get what we want, so we're just going to get more bleed gifts here. And we're going for the outcast. We're gonna start with bug juice. I could go for the mystery nodes, but we don't have any sanity. Our deployment order is pretty much what you would expect. It's Dawn first, followed by Princess, the Prince, the Barber, and the Priest. And once again, I'd like to remind you all, we are going to be counting how many combat nodes we are going through. That includes if we get like a boss in a mystery node. And for every combat node we complete, it's another page of the book we're going to be reading later today. So, let's begin. I do believe if I toss these two here on defenses, they are going to pop our... they're going to give bleed and she's going to eat up the bleed. Let's see if that works. Because as we saw, Princess Rodion, if anyone has bleed, she negates the bleed and takes what would have been the bleed and adds it a blood feast. While the Prince, he forces bleed onto all of her characters, and then I guess they work better, nice as a duo. Let's see. 55. Bad. So can we keep spamming that combo to get a lot of blood feasts? Let's see. Yeah, we're generating a healthy amount of blood feast. Again, it's a little difficult to keep track of all this stuff when we are... especially because these units here, they pretty much work off of each other, but there's a priority of who consumes blood feast first, and these two are very, very hungry. Very hungry. So finally ground mist fall. I guess as long as we keep using Rodion's clashable counter, we are going to negate any bleed damage that the priest would gain. So as long as we keep using their... It's very interesting how they made these IDs work off each other, because it actually feels like a performance, you know? It's like the main actors go first, that being Dawn and the Barber, for example, while the backup crew, which is the Prince and the Priest, they create bleed for the rest of the team. It feels like a play, you know? All right. Let's try that again. 0 blood feast. We are going to check this out again. So, where is it? Skill. So, to true allies, including this unit, apply 5 bleed and activate it once. Then, reduce their bleed count by 1. Once per turn, prioritize the allies that have the most hard blood armor, does not activate for higher kindreds. This damage does not reduce the allies' HP below 1. So that is 10 bleed that we're going to activate. By just using the skill, there is no once per turn. This only happens once per turn, so we can generate 10 blood feasts right off the bat. The Princess of La Mancha Land, where is it? Fence, there we go. Reduce the bleed count by 3 for true allies. Other allies that have the highest bleed potency times count value, and increase blood feast by spread reduction bleed potency times count reduced. If in fact reduce bleed to 0, bleed expires. So by using these two together here, I think we can generate like bleed out of nowhere. I'm not entirely sure on that. Well, anyway, let's give it a try, right? I'm not sure here. Hold on. On you, reduce bleed count by 3 for 2 other allies that have the highest bleed count. I guess we have to have bleed first. It's on use. It's not on combat start, it's on you. So only when this actually goes out that it's going to be reducing the count. And yours is on use as well, so ideally it would be him first, followed by her. Give it a try. It's strength, but again, most of this works automatically. We don't have to worry about it too much. But still, I want to try and maximize that. I think that's an interesting mechanic, because one generates bleed, the other one slurps up the bleed before it can happen, and the other one just applies a ton of self-bleed. Ultimately, we're going to get more bleed out of the enemies than from ourselves, but it's an interesting mechanic. I guess I don't have to think about it too much. We can just keep going, keep the blood flowing. We have a lot of support from our support units here, but we must focus on less resonance to get the most of it. I believe we need a 3 resonance every turn for the activation. Gregor is... Wait, what? No, that one's useless. I forgot about it. Activate it all. There we go. We must be focusing for lust resonance, and we do have the clashable counters that are all lusts to activate our resonance whenever we want, much like the Kurokumo clan. So we can keep generating blood feast by the usage of the princess, the prince, and the priest defense skills, because they're lust, and they will activate the extra bleed that we obtain from the passives from the characters. Very nice. That's very nice. I like it. It's very interesting. I never paid attention to that, even though I reviewed the units before. So we completed our first combat node, so that's 1 page. Let's keep that's the second one, actually. Oops, my bad. Let's keep it flowing, much like the blood. By the way, tomorrow afternoon, we are going to be fighting Rufo for the Reflect trial, which I am going to be using my favorite team first to see how they do. And wouldn't you know, my favorite team is the Kurokumo clan. There we go. All right, we got the secret of activating our lust resonance every time. That's very good. How was everyone's Saturday? By the way, the weekend is finally here, and it's pretty fun. All right. That's the buff. We're always looking for the highest resonance for this thing as well. They're very similar to the Kurokumo clan, because the highest resonance, the more buffs we get from the skills. 3 true from Princess and Prince. The only thing I want to watch out for is the Barber to use her suing target to gain more damage, more stuff out. Because if she gets a kill with her skill tree, recovers the resources used as well. Much like Dawn as well. I think Dawn and the Barber have like this resource reacquisition kind of kill. What the hell is this, bro? Why is it so funny? Ah, you like my little slideshow? I added there because it's funny. I wanted to do some shitty ads for the companies in game, and so now that's that. I hope you're enjoying it. I had the space under here it's where the announcements for whoever subscribes or follows. By the way, thank you for the follow, Bogamo. I don't know why the alert is not working. Did I hide the alert? I shouldn't have. Alerts? Are you working? Maybe I didn't hear it because I don't have my headphones on, but thank you for the follow. I did see it. I did see it here. But for some reason, the alert didn't play, or I didn't pay attention to it because I don't have my headphones on. But thank you for the follow. It helped a lot. I love the images I put. I spent an afternoon curating some good images for that. More bugs. Another node complete. By the way, I do not own any of the images being shown. If one day I find the owners of the images, I will credit them, but for now, I do not have them. Stab, 22. Alright, we're gonna be following the flow here of activating Lust Resonance every single turn. I know. I am going to eat my papaya as we play. The thing is, like I said, a lot of these things are automatic nowadays, and it's not that I pay, not keeping like super high attention focus on every single detail of every ID, but now when we get like an empowerment of a skill, we get like a visual cue, and that was been happening ever since the Blood Fiends here, and I complained a little bit about this last stream, and I guess this has been happening for a while now, so I really don't have anything to complain about it. This one needs more hard blood. Go. Tasty. For example, we can see that the princess is ready to rock with her skill tree. We get the visual modifier. She has the mask on, and I guess it's unfair for me to have complained about the. Now that I think about it, no, wait, yeah, the ring point lists, the ring Falvisms, yeah. They have a little shine on the dashboard rather than on the characters, while the Lamanchalan characters here have a physical visual effect on them. I guess we actually don't need ego generating gifts because we just generated all the resources we need for all our passives. That's pretty neat. Give me refresh. Oh, extra damage. Why, thank you. I will take that. Can't upgrade it. There we go. It's you. Poor creature. Do you see this? Do you see? She has given up. She got like her glow up during the Canto 9, and then she's still here on the mirror dungeon, and she just gives up. Just end me, I guess. Just end her suffering. Sorry, but I have bad English, but I listen, you are very interested. Oh, I appreciate you being here. What language do you speak, Bogomolcar? Because this tree is also Portuguese Brazilian. Você fala português brasileiro, eu também falo português brasileiro. I'm not even going to entertain fighting her seriously because she just gives up after a point. Ooh, high clash, power. And the priest wins. And goodbye. Why did it focus on the rodeo in there? Alright, that's 5 combat nodes complete. That's 5 pages of the book at the end of the stream. Give me the chance for a random gift, well, will you? Second floor. I don't believe we have a choice between the murder on the Warp Express. Let me just pack search to be sure. No, that's a floor 3 exclusive. Gotcha. We could visit Hell's Kitchen for the extra bleed damage here. This one is particularly good. Yep, chicken time. I do believe the Blood Fiends deserve a little treat, right? A little fried chicken to go along the way. Let's go, combat node awaits us for more money and a chance for gift. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. You can tell I am a very good mood today. Alright, let's check. Flash. Yeah, we got 3 here. Season is a tier. There we go. The tactical genius of Limbus company comes from IDs that can actually apply debuffs on enemies like the Kurokumo and maxing up with the speed values, but unfortunately, this is not the Kurokumo clan. This is the Unforgivable Sin. They're not ready yet for that. Rodeo, eat up the bleed that he's going to generate. Here we go. Ah, fuck, I gotta remember that the clashable counters only apply their special effect on use, not on combat start. Alright, let's use a AoE, shall we? Unforgivable Sin is not ready. Find the ground Mistfall. Clashable counter. Let's wear the coagulated armor. This is not ideal, but this is floor 2, and this string is decently strong. Now, here's something funny. A lot of people keep saying like the new IDs are much stronger or very overpowered, but so far, and I haven't reviewed any of the Nurse Fathers yet, but all IDs, the new one for the newer generation, what I would like to call it, have been, what do you say, following the same theme of like the power escalates like 11, 13 to 15, and then 16, 18, 20, or sometimes a little bit more. And skill tree is where everything like changes completely. So I don't see much of the whole the power creep that much. Certainly for the older IDs, yes, as we have clearly seen in some of our previous streams. But for the modern ones, they seem to be doing a pretty good job keeping the escalation. There's small differences of the offense levels, yes. Alright. Time for bleed power. Time for the overture. We have 5 bleed. Ah, didn't get to use it. What a shame. Impale the chicken. It's time for chicken kebab. Very nice. Moving on. That's 6 combat nodes. Yeah, I have to stop at some point to do one of the achievements we're gonna do, which I'm gonna call it the family trip, is using 2 of the ring. Actually, I did review the House of Spiders Honglu. What am I talking about? But I do gonna have to re-review him. And that is one of the achievements that is taking LCB Ryochu with 2 of the Nurse Fathers to beat the Canton 9 packs. So that's one of the things we're going to be doing in the future. Fullest resonance. Can't wait to play some Vermintide with my friends today. We're gearing up for another expedition. Oh, he's gearing up for a real-life expedition. He's going out to have a good old time in the mountains, and he's never going to be seen again. I also need to buy a new razor. I have to shave my head because, you know, I am not naturally bald. I have mentioned that a few times. I have to shave it. And because my previous shaving, how do they call it? My shaving device thing you put the razor in broke, I have to buy a new one, but I bought a cheap one, which bends the blade a little bit. And so it creates this like arch blade, which scrapes my head, and it's full of like wounds now. I managed to properly shave without hurting myself, but it's quite painful. I gotta buy a new one. I can't skirt out on quality with things that have sharp blades and you rub it on your head. Right now it's on sandpaper texture. I could do a procedure to become permanently bald, but I'm not going to do anything permanently on my body aside from the one tattoo that I have and I'm very proud of, which is this one here. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's just a classic mom tattoo on the bicep. All right, back at it. Lust resonance. Destroy. I do wonder if they are using workshop weapons, because I don't think it's in the skill set of a Blood Fiend to do that tornado. I mean, nothing stops a Blood Fiend to get some workshop weapons in the Project Moon universe, right? Yeah, then this is good. Now, if I remember correctly, your skill true applies a buff, right? Now, all your skills apply a buff. It applies Hard Blood Armor. It's your skill true that applies a great, big old buff. I do believe that Rodiant's clashable counter effect will be incredibly useful once we get the Blood Fiend packs, because you just soak up every drop of blood that is dropped by our allies. Exploded! Ooh, I want to trigger Gregor's active so bad, the empowered skill tree, because it's such a good voice acting on that. Gregor's VA is just insane. I still believe they do just take him, torture him on the recording booth. I like that Project Moon took the idea of vampires and make them like their own unique twist on it. It actually feels a little bit fresh rather than just vampire. Let's see, we completed 5, 6, 7, 8 combat nodes, 8 pages of the book. Take the mystery path. Oh, it's this one. I'll take it. Thank you. It's a very good gift. And in here we have nothing of worth. We could replace it with responsibility. I don't think we lose anything from replacing this one here. Yep, replace it. Give me a bleed keyword refresh. Ooh, White Gossipium. This time White Gossipium is good because since it unstaggers target and applies bleed to them, it makes the target bleed more, and we need that for our application of blood or blood feast. I'm so thirsty. Give me more bleed. I am so thirsty. You have to water me. You have to use your blood. What is that? A bug in my room. Pink bug. Fuck off. Chicken time. Let's mark his body. I don't want to waste a skill tree, but sure, let's use it. Well, I all have skill trees right now. Fuck it. Let's rock and roll full lust resonance. The unforgivable sin of chicken. Chicken's obliterated. You stand alone, Papa Bongi. All right, where is the barber? I did remember that I targeted your body, right? Yes. So body, 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 body. You clash there. The rest of you go over here and slice it to ribbons. The Barber of Lamantuland with the marking mechanic on her skill tree is very similar to the Sync Association, where, you know, you mark the target for duel and you duel that target. It's not as good as their mark, but it is a extra that you can do. And, you know, we like to squeeze every power we can. Just kill him. Bye. Turned into chicken blood. I look at my cat laying on the floor. They're so happy. They're so serene. Give me more cost. All right, that's floor 2. 9 combat nodes complete. Let's take the sharp needle and tread and 1 offense level up because that's easy to overturn. All right, let's see if we can pack search for the murder of the Warp Express. We should have access to it, right? Playing my robes. No. No, really? No murder on the Warp Express on floor 3? That's... Are you serious? I thought it was on floor 3 and beyond, huh? Because we have the other intervalos here. Crawling a bit, certain word. Yeah, no, that's weird. Oh well. Let's go for Falling Flowers. It has the special contract, and we have a full team this time, so we don't have any issues with playing a boss gimmick. I take more combat because combat equals more reading. K-Corp. Inexhaustible source of blood. I wonder if the Blood Fiends would get like into beefs with if they like during the if there is a clan that wages war against humans. I wonder if they specifically choose to fight against K-Corp employees just because they keep regenerating health, and so you can just keep drinking from them like with a straw. That is actually something real cool. Let me write that down.
피날레다. 왕의 피는 하사하리라.
뭐시여, 대가리에 총 맞았냐? 왜 느자구 없이 씩 쪼개고 있을까?
All right, sorry, I was writing down that idea. Imagine if the Blood Fiends attack K-Corp security forces, and since they are constantly regenerating health because of the HP bullets, they just go, fight, drink their fuel of blood, and then just run away. Because, you know, you don't have to kill them, just, you know, slice them around a little bit, get this little blood out, and then run away. They're gonna regenerate, they'll just come back later. Right, Dawn is empowered. Let's use an AoE and her skill tree as well. Actually, hold on. You have a buff. There we go. Buff. Buff, I say. Skill tree. There we go. No need to torture Gregor yet. We're not in a difficult fight or in a difficult portion of the mirror dungeon, so we have no need to make him bleed max with his defense skill. The Barber is one that I'm gonna replace all her skill 1 with the skill 2 because it's Lust, so we can help with the Lust resonance, and because she applies the Mark as well. The Mark increases the bleed damage taken, and I do believe Lust damage skill as well. So that's one that's gonna get replaced. All right, that's node 10 complete, I believe. Next one. Speaking of, I need to read up on my Vampire the Masquerade lore to prepare for the next campaign on my tabletop, because one of the players asked to delay his campaign, because I'm structuring my campaign as a tabletop similar to a Kanto on Limbus company, and so some things have to be changed from here and there. That's right. I'm structuring it like a Kanto from Limbus company, so it's very focused on each particular character. But one of the players asked me to delay his, so I'm gonna have to work on the next character, which is kind of good, I suppose. I only have 2 more chapters to prepare on my tabletop anyway, so I should probably focus on doing that tomorrow afternoon. As long as we get a 3 less resonance, we activate our passives, and it is really good. It's very similar to the Kurokomo clan now. The Kurokomo clan is just better. Exploded in blood! Ow. Is your free breed? Thanks for the blood feast, buddy. We are so hungry. Yeah, I'm 100% sure that umbrella of hers is like workshop technology. Just adapted together with her own skills as a blood fiend. You missed a spot there. Alright, 11 notes complete. Moving on. Let's go over here for additional cost and more gifts. That's a very pretty ID. I adapted these guys on my tabletop campaign, and they are kind of scary. They don't have high rolls, which is not their point. The point is that they're very ailment focused. And I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie, they're kind of cool. I want to use them soon. But my players are very occupied lately, so no tabletop as of late. Unfortunate. But I'll probably put it to the test soon. Yeah, very soon. I'm gonna reuse one of my maps. But my friend has to finish his campaign as well that we were playing, so there is that first. And it's very nice because I get to play my character, which I didn't have that many chances to play, but now I do have some chances to play, and I do enjoy playing as Ryonosuke. Kill that thing, kill that thing, there we go. We just need the Lust Resonance. There we go. Just kill it. There's no need to be fancy here. When there's only one enemy left, I have no... Why are we applying so much defense level down? Holy shit, that was without any gifts. I didn't pay attention to that. Maybe all the debuffs we applied just shit out defense and defense level down, which makes it very good for a Mirror Dungeon Extreme. Alright, that's another node completed. Updating the number. And we got this event is haunting me lately. I don't know why. I'm fighting it every single mirror dungeon that I do. I know how that you're supposed to fail it, but I'm not using a charge team. All right, shop time. Replace this with this for more. Prejudice. We have self-healing, so we don't need that. We could get mileposts for extra money, I suppose. Give me a bleed reroll. Reset him. Start fusing some stuff for bleed. We have this garbage, and this is for pride affinity and single coin skills. That's actually pretty good. Let's see. Trial plan guide is replacement. This is healing on entering. This is healing again. Get a refresh. Wrist guards are very nice. I like that. Let's try replacing another one here. There we go. More lust for me. I'm such a lustful boy. Ooh, Davy, the sin of lust. On to the boss fight, and then we're gonna start doing the achievement run, which is Warp, Bucket, Reopening, the Infinite, and Drink Ending. It's the fox! We are about to figure out what noise it makes when we bash its skull in. Actually, here's what we're gonna do. Rodion do this, and Dawn is going to use her gigantic AoE to take care of all of these little things. There's an attack being unaccounted for right here, and that should do it. Very nice, there we go. That takes care of all those umbrellas. Ah, we got a bot trying to sell me viewers. They are changing the website. Nice. Haven't done the achievement of doing like 200,000 damage in a single attack, but I feel like I'm gonna do that very easily once I take one of the Nurse Fathers to a Mirror Dungeon Extreme, especially Callisto. Callisto Lu. Alright. Now we just have to take care of the fox, and that is pretty damn easy. So let's see here. We got a Lust Resonance, very good. And goodbye, Mr. Fox. I don't think we're gonna do 1,800 damage in a single go, but it's gonna do pretty well. We do have bleed, lots of bleed, and because we're again running a bleed team in the mirror dungeon. Yeah, that ego is fantastic, Bogomol. It's such a nice looking ego. And it can do a shit ton of damage once you got the damage buffs rolling. Smug Princess Rodion. Alright, we didn't do 1,800 damage, but we did close to enough. Kill it. Just kill it. No need to be fancy now. And explodes in blood. Alright. Now we can get our pack search for the murder on the Warp Express and finally start working on the achievement. Let's get a mystery gift here. That's another node complete, by the way. So clash power, offense level, or go without saying. And this one is here is just more power. We're gonna get the bleed gift regardless. So I'll take the offense level and the max HP gladly and with a smile on my face. And we also get Kaleidoscope. That is fantastic. That's offense level up based on the IDs that we have. So it's free. Free like that. All right, time to use that Starlight for the murder. We're gonna get the first the murder. Do we have the reopening already? Hold on. I don't see the reopening, so I'm guessing we're gonna get that next. So murder into Warp Express. Pack search. Here we go. Time to visit Cassetti. Time to visit our good old boy that thought he could escape Lamenchaland, but Lamenchaland comes to him. Actually, let's get it on stream. Hold on. Where's my? Let me save that. Image. Browse. Project Moon. Cassetti. There we go. And then I can apply a filter on it for opacity. But what was it? Color correction? Opacity. Close enough. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Transform, flip horizontal. There we go. Let's put him over there. We are fast approaching him. There we go. Don't you love when your relatives are coming to visit and they never tell you when they're coming? So you just go answer the door and there it is. Your entire family, all your relatives, younger sister, older sister, mother, father, everyone. This is exactly what's happening right now. The entirety of the family that we have access to on the company is coming to visit Cassetti twice. And bleed isn't going to be a problem. Oh, hold on. I have the live. Hold on. Let me do this. How do I copy? Paste, duplicate. Go. And then we're gonna get the. Just a second. I'm gonna do this real quick. Where is it? Is it on overlay? No. Is it on screen? Images? Don't know. I forgot to put it. I don't want to stop the stream for that, but I'm gonna go get that real quick. Hold on. It would be. Yeah, I added this. And then, okay. Right, all right, all right. Hold on. Transform, flip horizontal. And then we add a text box real quick. No. Shit. No, don't. Ooh, this is dangerous. This is very dangerous. Ooh, copy. Paste, duplicate. Text box. And middle lock the... There we go, so we don't have to create any problem. There we go. Let me just finish this. There we go. And then we go to here. We remove the filters. And filters. Disable it. This is such a bad shit post, man. And how do I... Fuck. 1 second, please. Let me keep the fight going here. I want to do this. I should have done this beforehand, but I want to do this. Where do I put it? Hazard block, hazard black block. There we go. Copy, paste, duplicate. Alright, my shitpost is complete. There we go. It's bad, it's horrible, but it's there. After this stream, it's gonna forever. There we go. Alright, and I haven't paid attention to what's going on in the fight. That's the mistake I always do when I'm doing my daily stream, isn't it? I often go on tangents or I do something else.
옛날에 외부 강사로 뛰던 것이 생각나네. 한 놈만 잡아줄까? 일대를 다 쓸어버렸으면 좋겠어.
There we go, there we go. I said I wasn't going to eat on string anymore because we don't like this kind of content, but this papaya is absolutely delicious.
놀만치 노른 것 같은 게. 이제 싸게
Sorry.
치고 들어가자. 고생되었다.
First aid kit, nice. All right, that's another combat node completed. I need to edit as we go. 14. Let's get a mystery pack here so you get some gifts along the way. Ah, give me your shit. I don't care what it is. Again, charge, game bleed. Crystallized blood acquired. Charge gift. Refuse. I never refused it. Electric cable reaches out towards the sinner. You get the heart. Oh, sorry. Oh.
정신을 유지할 수 있기를.
All right, here we go. Interesting. They're starting to ramp up in power. What do you want? Yeah. Come here.
그라제 그것은 진작에 가졌어야지.
Cats are being a menace again.
성공의 피날레다.
원을 피. 기름으로 끌라고. 어째? 아마 됐다. 알아서 해라.
Alright, let's keep getting our last resonances going, so offset doesn't do anything. Shit. That's a power counter. There we go. There we go. As long as we get it, 3 resonance less, we are good. The more the better, of course, but if you get 3, that's pretty damn good. Again, similar to the Kurokumo clan, but not quite as strong.
왜 늦자고 없이
Empowered skill tree coming right up.
인간.
Nice guard there. I'm sure that's going to help. Explode into blood for me. I didn't explode.
담배 괜찮았어. 한치 할줄 알았으면 빨리 좀 하지 그랬냐?
Bum, bum. See if we can get that's 2 buffs. You don't have buffs for us, so you are going to do this, and this. There we go.
가족이 되기 약하고.
Again, do not mind the noise on the background. I do share this room with someone else. Not much I can say more here. We're just, trudging along. Achievement will be completed. Skill 2 coming up. No need to be fancy here, but I want to.
피날레. 따스한 피. 왕의 비호를 하사한다. 눈높이를 낮춰라.
Variant, Central, Hardwood, Arts, the Scissors.
또한 용서할 테니.
Very nice. Look at the blood in the floor. I love this. That the blood fiends are the only ones that get this effect of the blood covering the floor. It's very nice. Another combat node complete. And on to the store and to visit our dear Cassetti. Prestige card. Ah, yes, I have learned my lesson about prestige card. Sunshower is also pretty damn good. And so is Fury down because it's a less resonance burn application. So give me a keyword refresh for bleed. WB fast, rusted muzzle, and WB fast, kill enemy. Ooh, that is good. We can sell these, which are useless for us. We can sell the card, which is also useless for us. And we can sell the heart. There we go. And then we take the WB flask. And the rusted muzzle. Nice. We should have enough for something soon enough, don't we? Not yet. Good gifts all around. Good gifts all around. Who else has? Only you have. There we go. There we go. We replace skills 1 with skills 2 for Otis because her skill 2 is better. And it marks the target, which is very useful. Especially for her. Cat, what do you want? Behold, the beast! The orange beast!
딱 상냥하게 줘.
Look at this beast. He is Melon Cat. You know why he's called Melon Cat? Because whenever you open a fruit here, melon, a papaya, or anything, he's around because he wants a bite too. Isn't that right? Ah, what a handsome beast he's. Careful, you're gonna get your tail on the fan. All right, let's get to it. Buff activation. We do have here Lust. I don't like using skill tree without having this skill tree ready. So we're just gonna hit here. There we go. Lust Resonance. Buffs for everyone. Such a handsome beast. Look at him. He is a handsome beast. I'm gonna get you again. And through wishes, you're gonna show up on String Cat. Oh, such a large cat. You wanna say something? You want a piece of fruit? You want a piece of melon? You want a papaya? Oh, yes, you're a cute cat. You don't like when I pick you up, don't you? Oh, he hates when I pick him up like that. Welcome back, Aesthetic Trauma. Welcome back. And welcome back, Akui MD. Necrophage. Necro thing. I remember your other name now. Alright, let's keep going. We're about to visit Cassetti. Unannounced family member enters your home to visit when you least expect it. Alright. I think a lot of these enemies, like, we don't usually get an ID for a character in the story after we beat him, right? We don't usually get it before. So, whenever we get to, like, new players that are going through their own journey right now, whenever they get to, like, say, Ricardo, now that we have Ricardo Heathcliff, I guess that must feel the same as fighting a skinwalker. That is someone literally acting and dressing and talking like you, but it's clearly not you. I got all clear, all capted. Oh, why did you pick that, man? The tier 3 Pecatolas have counters, and counters on the Extreme MD is a death sentence. Impaled on. We're empowered. Right. Here we go. Let's keep the power flowing. Let's save our skill tree for Cassetti. I forgot to do the dailies. I got fucked up doing everything else. That's fine. It's just, you don't lose a lot from dailies. Just like, if you have the battle pass, like 3 boxes, I think. 3 boxes, I think. Hi, Cassetti! It's your entire family here! The one was looking you on the ray. How you doing, Cassetti? You doing good, buddy? Your family's here to visit. Aren't you happy? I didn't realize how mean it is to ask if you're happy. You should immediately enter panic if there was like a manager of La Mancha Alone present. But we don't get the same interactions from the mirror dungeon as we get from the story.
피날레를 시작하자.
Weak damage, weak. Boo. It's an AoE. It's meant to hit multiple targets.
아마 됐다. 알아서 해.
너희의 목이 이 혈투를 승리로
Dawn is still empowered up. Cancel that attack. Don't want her to use that. I want her to use her big attack. Buff us up, Rhodia, Willia. And for him, and here. Nah, I should have put my cat in my nose. Now I got cat hair in my nose, and I'm not allergic, but I'm being sneezing lately because of morning allergies.
왕의 비호를 하사한다.
기대해라.
I still somehow dealt more damage than Princess Rodion, but not a lot. Again, it's supposed to be an AoE. Alright, you're gonna use your Chud Rage attack now. Unfortunately, we are somewhat faster than you. Like, very, very much faster than you. Ah, let the blood flow.
따스한 피. 왕의 비호를 하사한다.
Maybe too early, but I'm saving up for wall PvE. He goes, it's not early. It's never early to save up for wall Porgus.
나는 진정한 왕으로 군림하는 것이다.
It is never too early to save for wall Porgus.
이번엔 재미 좀.
Alright, now we are bleeding. We are all full of blood, nice and round, big like a tick. It's time to fight. Come here. It's time to engage in combat. We don't have a resonance coming out. Kill one. There we go. There we go. Resonance, activate.
왕의 비호를 하사한다.
He's rushing to Princess. Princess Rodion must trigger so many bad memories on him. It's Bokak season, so it's a good time to recover resources. Indeed, Trevor Brackett. I don't remember if you have been on the channel before. If you haven't, welcome. It's always nice to have someone else here. But if it's not, I apologize. I'm not very good with names. Never was. Let's keep going. Let's keep the blood flowing. Flow, oh blood. Go. It's so funny to fight blood versus blood. It's taking a little bit, and we're gonna have to fight him again on the Bokyak version of this. But it's still pretty funny to watch the amount of blood on screen.
왕의 비호를 하사한다.
I did choose the normal version, not the Bokyak, did I? You should, instead of getting 400 for each, just grab the boxes. Stopped by once or twice with a few weeks back. Don't blame me for remembering. But welcome nonetheless. If you stick around to the end of the stream, once we're done to the achievement, I am going to be reading Yiseng's book. I'm reading a page for every combat node that we complete in Mirror Dungeon, so it's guaranteed that we're going to be reading quite a bit of the book today. More blood! Blood for the blood god! The elders of the blood fiends do not care from where the blood comes from. Only that it flows. Oh, I hope this kills him.
경을 온 라샹 끝을 낼 시간
Oh, it killed him.
놀만치 노른 것 같은 게.
By the way, we're gonna be reading some of Yiseng's book. We've already been through the meaty potatoes of his poems and his short stories that have a direct relationship to Limbus Company. The next book that I'm going to be reading on stream is going to be the Merso's book to, you know, commemorate that his Canto is coming up. Give me a defense level. Ooh, Midwinter Nightmare. Honestly, I've had a hard time guesstimating how many shards I'm gonna get from boxes to get 400, so I'm going to do it one at a time. Just skip the boxes. 100 is about 100, 200 boxes. Maybe 150 is what you need for a full ID. All right, floor 5. We are gonna refresh first. No luck. Let's find the Buckgak for. There we go. That was not the Buckgak. Good, 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 good. Infinite Procession, Lemon Shoulder Reopening, and the Dream Ending. They're all here. Good. Where is the Buckgak? There we go. That's the second part of the achievement. Right here. We're back on the fucking train. Gotta read more Sinner books, man. I only read Wuthering Heights on my own time. They're good. They're very good. And it's help us get some meta knowledge of what's coming for them. Especially with, you know, the upcoming campus. Because we have to understand that the books, the adaptations of the characters in Limbus Company aren't one-to-one off on the books. They are inspired by and adapted into the setting of the city, as we have seen before. And sometimes they are a compound of several books into one character, as with the case with Ryoshu. Ryoshu is, again, just... it's a mix of Health Screen and a Spider's Thread and probably a few others. Yeah, just sit on the box until I have enough to chart in one go. That's what I do as well. I only had the Stranger, but I also have Demian and Otis' book. Yeah, I'm gonna be reading the Stranger on stream, and Demian is gonna be it's an interesting book. I don't vibe much with it, but apparently our director vibes a lot with it. And Otis, I read a page or two of the Odyssey, but I never read the full thing. A lot of the books I haven't read it myself. If I recall, I read Metamorphosis, I read Stranger, I read Demian, at least the first part. I read Crime and Punishment, read more like I listened to an audiobook, which kind of amounts to the same thing, but not really, but still. That's where the coagulated blood, we just need another one, so let's go. So, in average, for every stream, because I'm still trying to structure how I'm going to do the book reading and all that, because it's, not everyone is here for listening to me yap about book, read the book, especially Yiseng's book, which is interesting, because poetry is interesting. Yiseng's book is interesting, to say the least. So, I'm still structuring how I'm going to do this. I tried in a previous stream... I tried in the previous stream to read in between the combat nodes of the Mirror Dungeon, but that led to a problem where I'm not giving enough attention to the combat or not enough attention to the book, ended up confusing and had to reread some parts, and I want to avoid that. So instead I've decided to do the first part of the stream. We're going to study the ID that we're going to be using today. In this case, I'll review the entirety of the Blood Fiends again, and then we're going to do the dungeon, and for every combat node that we do in the dungeon, it's a page of the book we're going to read after. So the longer a dungeon goes, and the more combat we encounter, the more meta lore we're going to get on the Sinners. Yeah, I call it a royalty-free dramatic reading, yeah. And since all of these streams are saved on YouTube, if you want to catch the books, you can just, you know, go to the playlist and rewatch it. Let's see. Yeah, it's just that the first attempts to reading it kind of were experimental. This is still pretty much experimental, seeing if it sticks. So that's why I decided to segment it into study, beer dungeon, book reading. So one doesn't overlap with the other. And I think that's the most optimal, the most ideal way to go about this. And let me tell you, Yiseng is a strange little critter. Yiseng the book author, I mean. Because, again, poetry is this weird form of media. Poetry is literally, I'm just gonna put my feelings, my raw emotions into paper without considering how the person that is gonna read the book is going to take them. And let me tell you, based on Yiseng's writings, he is a fascinating little creature. There we go, Dawn. Do that AoE that I love. He was a very sad character, yeah. He probably didn't have a good relationship with his family, didn't have a good relationship with his first wife. He opened several cafes with one of his wife, and they never worked out. And then he got arrested because he lived during the time that Japan was occupying Korea. He got arrested, he got tuberculosis, and then died from it on jail. All right, combat node completed. To the next. I feel like I added a few combat notes to the page reading, but doesn't matter. Right, let's keep getting that lust resonance. Shall we? I wouldn't say he's a nihilist. That comes to my time to think about the author, but there is a certain melancholy on his texts, like someone that has given up on trying, but somehow he's kept on living. There is many texts that talked about like the idea of suicide, and one of them that perfectly encapsulates the setting of the city, which is one of his texts called Enwa. Enwi. A-N-N-U-I, which I recommend it all to read because it's a very interesting meta-knowledge on the city and how like this was what Carmen was seeing was the problem in the city, and this is what she was trying to solve it. And you know how that ended up. Yeah, just toss a nothing attack there. Heck, I could read that again, but I'm not gonna do it right now. I do have it open right here, but maybe after we kill Cassetti again, I'll read the Enwa text again, because it is, we gotta encapsulate it on the context of the city and how it makes sense. Like, yeah, this shit's kind of fucked up, we need to fix it. That Carmen wanted to do on LobCorp. Let me locate it and I'll read it. It's not going to be on stream, so it's going to be a listening exercise for all of you. And I love a good listening exercise. It's the time I get waste more time with my students because they take a long time to understand what I'm saying. Even though I speak like half speed. Alright, let me find it here. 1 second. Again, this is kind of going against what I was talking about on paying attention to the combat versus paying attention to the book reading, but there is nothing that interesting to see here once we get to the bosses. Just hit that just hit that lust notification and bell and go for it, and that's it. All right, I'm gonna read it again. It's the only text I'm gonna read on stream right now, so here we go. I want you to take this text and contextualize it on the setting of the city from Project Moon. Like, instead of talking about the mountain village or anything, consider it the denizens of the city and the overall state of Enwa, of the city. Right, here we go. Let me just give the final orders here.
제법 보는 맛이
There
있단게.
we go. Yeah, use this. And then you use two of these. There we go. Enwa. It'd be better if it got dark quickly, but the summer days in this remote village are so murderously tedious and long. Halbong Mountain stands to the east of me. Its lines have no curves. How can a mountain be so dull looking? I look to the west and see nothing but the fields. I look to the south and it is the same. I look to the north and it's still just fields. Oh, these endless fields. What are they up to? How can they be so utterly, singularly green? There are 10 farmhouses on the main street of this village. Their writhing pine trees are used as the pillars of these houses. Their walls are a dried mixture of rubbed mud and straw. Their fences are made of corn stalks, pumpkin vines cover up the fences, and all the houses look the same to me. The same cypress tree I saw yesterday, I will see Mr. Kim again today. I will see the same white dog, the same black dog, again and again tomorrow. The boiling sun strikes down on the rooftops, on the fields, on the mulberry trees, and on the hen's tails. This unbearable heat bombardment continues all day. Hold on, we're freestyling the lesson plan today. Yeah, kind of. I have just had breakfast. There is nothing else to do. But out of nowhere, a blank paper known as today is spread out before me. Second. 9. Let's get to the combat and we'll continue. Once again, take in consideration that this is talking about the city. I have just had breakfast. There is nothing else to do, but out of nowhere, a blank paper known as today is spread out before me. The paper demands that I write some sort of news article. I have no choice but to do something, and must research what I'm going to have to do. Well then, shall I go to Mr. Cho's porch and play chess with him? I think I might like that. Mr. Cho is out in the fields. First, I don't see anyone at Mr. Cho's, but then I find Mr. Cho's nephew, who is taking a nap. Aha! I had my breakfast after 10 in the morning, meaning this is exactly the time for Mr. Cho's nephew to take his nap. I wake up Mr. Cho's nephew and play a game of chess with him. I always beat him. For him, playing a game of chess with me is his enwa. The result is the same no matter what, how many times he plays it. It is pointless for him to even try. But if he doesn't play, what else is there for him to do when there's only the two of us around? And if losing is an enwa, then how can winning not be an enwa as well? I can play 10 games with him, then win all 10 games. And it's just as boring to lose all those 10 games. I cannot stand this boredom. I will let him win, just this one. I pretend to think really hard, then place my pawn where I know is dangerous for me. Mr. Cho's nephew yawns and makes his move. He knows he will lose, so he won't even pretend. This is his strategy. He wants to finish this game as quickly as possible and lose again and again, so that the ever-victorious general, that would be me, will be overwhelmed by his own enwa and finally retreat. It's surely his plan to go back to napping once I leave. Inevitably, I win again. He says he doesn't want to play anymore. I have no choice but to stop. It is difficult to lose a game voluntarily. Why can't I be more like Mr. Cho's nephew, who is utterly indifferent now and always? And am I still beholden to this irrelevant desire to win even as I suffocate in enwa? Is there no way to be complete fool? I hate this insignificant human desire that still remains within me more than anything else. I must find a way to elude this final thing. I must throw away my ability to recognize my enwa and be totally dejected. Now, enwa is written like this, if you wish to Google the meaning. My pronunciation might be wrong, so bear with me for a second. I go to the village creek. The drought has weakened its flow so much that I hear no sound of water. Why doesn't this skeletal stream of water cry out to me? It is too hot. It is so hot that the leaves are all sagging and panting. The creek has no talent to sing out something cold in this heat. I sit next to the stream. I think about what the title of my next rumination will be, but of course no title comes to mind. Well then, I am not going to think about anything. Instead, I look over to the endless green fields, the horizon, and the clouds that cannot escape the cycle of trivial acrobatics of constant shapeshifting. I assume 99% of the Earth is covered in this greenery of terror, meaning that the planet is in fact artless and dull-colored. The color green is rare in my city. When I first arrived here in this countryside, I was amazed by this fresh greenness, and I fell in love with it. However, after 5 days had passed, I was shocked to discover that this endless green was in fact ugly and dry, a product of a god who was crude and tasteless in its making. What is the world trying to do with being so green? The color green does nothing at all. Like an imbecile, the green is so content with being green that it remains simply green. When the night comes at last, the world will surrender its greenness to the abyss and slip soundlessly. Oh sure, what great humility! One moment. And let me get to the next node. Bleed. Very good enough. I take it. Cigar holder. It's good. Take it. Refresh. Ooh, Dolly, actually. Hold up, take it, Dolly. Let me just get to the store here and we'll get right back to the reading real quick. Smokes and wires. As we have 5 sinners. What the hell is this? Oh, that's new. That's not new, but still. Anything worthless in my hands here. What is this, actually? Oh, it's just Mr. changing those batteries. Okay, got it. 1 second. There we go. Fuse it. Give me Milarka. Use this one. And this one. Very good. And off we go. Let's visit Cassetti again. Anyway, continue the reading of our text here. Sorry about that little stop there. When the winter comes at last, all things initially lose their colors. However, the winter soon makes everything hideous in both shape and hue, and everything ends up looking like a shredded rag. I pity the farmers, who might as well be the greatest fools in the world, who must look at such wastelands all winter while trying hard not to kill themselves. Their lives, like these fields, are paint-washed in the monotonous color of ennui. When they work, the dullness will suffocate them like these hot green fields. When they are not working, the dullness will be as rough and dirty as the winter wastelands. Nothing excites the farmers. Even if lightning strikes their fields, to them it is nothing but a mere eventuality following thunder. Even if a tiger claims a village child, to them it is nothing but a form of divine punishment that occasionally happens in a mountain village like theirs. Really, in their field where there are no utility poles, what could they ever get excited about? Steel-framed utility poles stand in a line over the back of Palbong Mountain, but not even a postcard gets wired to this village through their motionless power lines. I am certain the electric current flows through them, but as long as the villagers' houses are lit darkly with lamps made of pine wood, the poles might as well be indistinguishable from poplar trees at the entrance of this village. Do these villagers have hopes and dreams? I'm sure they all hope for a good harvest in autumn. However, that is not hope. That is mere survival instinct. Tomorrow we'll keep doing the same things we have been doing. Why are the endless tomorrows of NY so endless? But the villagers here can't think about any of this. Even if such a suspicion were to come up upon them like a flash of lightning, the hard labor of their days will put such thoughts to sleep immediately. Thus, how unfortunate are these farmers? Well then, how happy am I to be conscious of my horrific ennui? The cypress tree I see every day is languishing from the heat. From time to time, the water gets caught in a puddle and festers. I am sitting near such a puddle. The water rots quietly before me. A rooster idly crows during the day. Nothing is interesting about the rooster that crowed yesterday, crowing again today. It does not matter if one listens to it or not. By some chance, my ears have caught his crowing, but I have nothing to say about it other than that I have heard it. The rooster at least crows regularly at dawn and during the day, but the dogs of this village never bark. Are they all mute? No, I have evidence. When I, a stranger, threaten them and throw stones at them, they run away for miles and finally bark at me. However, if I do not scare them away and pass by quickly, they just stare at me, a stranger who has come from far away. They do not bark. Even though my face is pale and topped off by my wild bird's nest hair. Truly strange, why do these dogs never bark at me? In this world, there are many weird, humble, cowardly dogs. If these cowardly dogs will not bark when they see me, then what will they ever bark at? They have no reason to bark. Apparently travelers do not come here. This village isn't even next to any main road. There is no reason for anyone to pass by this place. Sometimes Mr. Kim visits and he's from a neighboring village. However, he has the same complexion and speaks in the same dialect as Mr. Cho, who is from this village. What reason is there for the dogs to bark at Mr. Kim? So they never do. There are no thieves in this poor village. If the thieves see how poor this village is, and if they have a shred of kindness in their heart, then they will leave behind whatever dowry jewels they meant to steal from the poor women who live here. This village can be dangerous for thieves, for they can get their thieving hearts stolen from them. What really is there for the dogs to ever bark at? For too long, probably since their birth, these dogs have given up their barking ways. I think the dogs of this village have not barked for a few generations and they have lost their instinct. Now, they might bark if they get hit by stones or sticks, and only if it hurts too much. However, humans can behave similarly. Such changing nature probably should not be attributed to dogs only. The dogs return to the gates of their owner's house and sleep all day and night. Why? Because there is nothing for them to guard. Mr. King dogs stroll up the street, Mr. Cho's dog sees and rises to greet him. But even if they greet each other, there is nothing for them to do afterwards. They stand together for a while, then go their separate ways. The dogs wag and prowl the village streets. They prowl the streets day and night, but the dogs do not find anything to eat on these streets of dirt. All summer, the villagers eat barley and millet. Their side dishes are raw soybean paste and green chilies. Nothing is left in their kitchens. There is nothing left to be thrown out for the dogs to eat on the streets. Prowling has no benefit, the dogs think. Let's just take another nap. The dogs forget their natural gift for guarding things. They have been corrupted with their lust for naps. They have been corrupted so much that they should be cast out. It's a sad business how these mute dogs have forgotten their barking. These lazy dogs do not know how to guard and protect. In the end, these idiot dogs are sacrificed to the villagers on Dog Day, and they are made into dog soups. The poor dogs don't even know how the lunar calendar works. They have no way of knowing when Dog Day is coming. The newspapers do not get delivered to this village, not even buses pass through here. How can I possibly get news about what's going on in the city? Being here is the same as depriving all 5 of your senses. Underneath this stifling sky, stifling horizon, stifling landscape, stifling custom, the more I want to roll around, the more I remain stifled. Is there any pain greater than being unable to think at all? Humans are able to think even when they are sick and bedridden. Actually, it is natural to think, even more so in sickness. When the endless ennui suddenly strikes a person, their eyes open inward. They will be able to observe their inner self more closely, far more so than when they were too busy. This excess of self-consciousness can be found in any modern person. It is what plagues them. It is a symptom of, and the very definition of ennui. Physical inactivity and unavoidable ennui are signs of self-consciousness at its peak excess. But as I am sitting beside the creek, I am locked out for even the excess of self-consciousness. Even though I am lethargic, and even though I have an estranged case of ennui, my eyes hesitate opening inward. I don't want to think anything. Until yesterday, thinking about dying was the only thing that entertained me. However, now, even that is tiresome. I will just sleep with my eyes open and not think at all. It is so hot. Why don't I take a bath? But the creek's water barely flows anymore, and it is rotting. It is just too much work to look for clean water. And even if I do find clean water, I will not take a bath in it. I don't want to take off my clothes. No, it is despicable. I will not stand and allow my pale and brittle body to be spread out under the white sun to be dried. What if my clothes are wet from my sweat? Let them stay wet. So be it. But still, how can it be so hot? I return to my lodging and wash my face there. On my way back, as I am kicking the pebbles on the road, I come upon a pair of dogs fornicating. There is no artful technique in the sex of domesticated animals, it is just another manifestation of the ennui itself. The sex ritual of these dogs is not at all interesting to the village children, nor to the country maids. I am certainly not interested in it either. Back in my room, I look at the tin wash bowl, reddish and blackened like the complexions of the villagers here. The bowl lost its original color long ago. I am guessing that the lady at this house brought it with her as part of her wedding dowry. I washed my face in it. But even this water is warm. Even this water cannot withstand this summer heat. I finished cleaning my face, following the rules of face washing exactly. Then I take the remaining water in the bowl and go up to the fence of the house, where the pumpkin vines are sagging. I find where the roots may be and pour the water there and hope that the vines will regain some of their vitality. I dry my face with a towel smelling of sweat and sit on the porch. The innkeeper has 4 kids, and these kids always copy what I'm doing. They even use the same wash bowl to wash their faces just like I did. I initially think that they are washing themselves because it is hot, but turns out not to be the case. Children are in their own enwa, and they are flustered from knowing what to do. From not knowing what to do. Just like how I don't know what I'm doing at all. They saw me washing my face and decided to wash theirs because I am not them. And that is all that is. Anyway, I think that there's more for the text here, but I'm going to stop right now because we're entering a new part. But there we go. We completed another combat node, and we have to keep going to complete the achievement. So, in any case, what I meant to say that this text in particular pertains a lot about the city, because the city is living in that state of enwa. Carmen noticed that, and she's tried to fix that. That's what was Lobotomy Corporation all about, trying to awaken people from this enwa. And I particularly like the part where he says that the more stuck in this what's the word, molasses of existence, the more someone looks inward. All right, the next pack we have to check here is the reopening of La Mancha Land. There we go, La Mancha Land reopening. Reopening, the Infinite Procession, and the Dream Ending. Replace Plague of with the sickness of the mind. Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening in the city. People don't react. They are stuck working day in, day night. They don't have hopes. They don't have dreams. They are stuck in this permanent state of idleness. But the more they get stuck in that, the more they look inward, and they might find something to, you know, what's called when you use electricity to galvanize their spirit, or completely break, because that's distortion and ego, you know. Let's go down here. Ah, it's him. Take the brass ring. Anyway, humanity is stuck in that, but comes an interesting theory. We know that the state of the city has been carefully cultivated by the head. I do not believe the head is anti-humanity, and the head is not like the usual evil government that just wants profit and money, because otherwise they already have that, so what's the point? And they have several times said that they are all about cultivating humanity. So I believe that they have cultivated the state of the city as it is right now to cultivate humanity to a degree. Their idea might have been lopsided the way things are going, considering the city, but maybe like the few exceptional individuals who rise from this sludge of humanity that they create, they allow it to fester, they cultivate it to fester, for some reason. What reason, we don't know, but they went as far as banishing everything that is non-human to the outskirts, and to maintain the status quo where they want to take emotion to an extreme. So I believe that we might, that's my crackpot theory, that's my schizo theory. They are cultivating humanity in their own deranged way. That is my idea, that coming from this story here. Because while it might just be schizoing out about this, it rings a little too nicely, too close home for the city, the setting of Project Moon. You know, they just replace the farmers with the people of the city. They work, and there is the same thing every day, and nothing changes. They're stuck in this, again, molasses of mundanity, and it's just things that happens. Literally, dogs fucking the street. Yeah, that's a thing that happens. someone gets smoked by thunder as divine punishment. That's just that just happens. There's nothing wrong about that. There's nothing weird. There's nothing exceptional. The middle comes in and purges an entire entire neighborhood. That's just life in the city, isn't it? Fucking what's his name? The crying children from Library of Ruina comes out from the library and kill 80,000 people. That doesn't happen, yeah. You know, it's just another Tuesday. And it was kind of crazy, you know. I saw it. I saw people melting into flesh piles as the scorching heat turned the buildings into molten rivers of cement. But you know, I've seen worse. That's just every day. I have to go work tomorrow. I have taxes to pay, so I can't really stop to appreciate it. It was kind of interesting. I'm sure the Hand Association will take care of that. But yeah, I gotta work tomorrow. Can't lose time thinking about that, right? And anyway, I need water. Yapped a little bit, but that's a taste of my dramatic reading, and we're gonna be reading quite a few pages today. Sorry, I forgot to remove Cassetti from here. We already dealt with him, but yeah. There we go. He's gone. He is gone. Cassetti has done his thing. Move the black box. Move the text box. And there we go. Whew. Anyway. Might as well go over here to get a few gifts, right? I mean, it's an easy fight. I need to get some water. Oh, esqueci lá. 1 second, as I'm gonna get some coffee for myself. I'll be right back. In the meantime, enjoy this fight.
왕의 비호를 하사한다.
엎드리도록.
아이 씨발 뭐 됐냐? 참나, 내가 벌써 눈이 침침해졌는가? 먼 데다가 칼을 갖다 봐.
And turn back my camera on. There we go. There we go. Back into the fight against this creature. This creature is pathetic. There is not much to do about it. We just do the normal clashing that we usually do. Again, this isn't much of a challenge. These achievements aren't difficult. These achievements are just play with his IDs. And for me, who has all of the IDs, it's pretty easy. Funny, the teddy bear get killed by the woman with a cigarette. Alright, that's another combat node completed. We still have 2 more packs to go. This is the reopening, and then there is the Infinite Procession, and finally the dream ending. So let's get down here and get it done.
행진이다.
Giddy done, giddy.
지제. 저건들이 아까부터.
Right, let's get these done quickly now. There are things I want to do today. My friend is, like I said, going to be mountain hiking somewhere for some reason. I don't know why. And I want to play with him after this. So I have to hurry up. And saying hurry up, I mean complete the packs quickly because reading will be 23 pages. Let's see. Do a little clashable counter here, and there we go. My beautiful Love Corp mug. Delicious. Let's do an AoE here because it's very good AoE. We need another Lust. Let's get from Lust from Princess Rodion. There we go. Oh boy, that's 23 pages to go. There'll be a lot of reading, so buckle up once we end the challenge here. We're doing two achievements at the same time, so that's, you know, pretty easy. I mean, they're pretty designed to be done at the same time because one of them is just beat the Murder the Warp Express with the Blood Fiends, and the other one is also do that, but do the Kanto 7 packs as well, so it's not really that much of a difficult achievement. It's not even an achievement at all, it's just play with these IDs if you have them. I guess you can shard them, so it kind of becomes a challenge by itself. Bonk. Ah, here comes the big AoE from Princess Rodion. The blood truck has arrived. A nice little bit. I've seen better AoEs, but that's pretty good. You boys have a lot of health. Maybe I shouldn't have chosen all that health upgrade for you, huh? No, doesn't matter. You have your AoE ready. Yes, you do. Here we go. Bonk. I'll make you a new dress. Kill the Q inspired ID. Yes. I think the Barber is one of the coolest Blood Fiends, honestly. But I do have a soft spot for Kill a Kill, so again. We go. That's another combat node complete and another page we shall be reading today. Maybe I should move the alerts for new subscribers to the side here. They don't appear all the time, so it should be good. Alright. We need our last resonance. We are going to do here and here. Yeah, good enough for me. Ooh, stagger. On our side? No. No, stagger from our side. Priest Gregor got staggered. Not a problem. He's meant to be staggered anyway. Because the more damage he takes, the more damage he deals. And he can regenerate pretty easy. But Rodion gets staggered, that's bad. War Corporate official account. Hello there. And welcome to the stream, Warp Corp. We will be pleased to know that we have taken care of the little problem that you were having in your warp trains. Twice, because that was a family member that weren't supposed to be there. And he was very, very happy to see us. Ecstatic even to see our guys, our family. Today we're here just doing the achievement for using the Blood Fiend to complete 5 specific fog on my ear, fog on my eyes. 5 specific packs, so sit back and relax, have a nice time. And after we're done with this achievement, I am going to be reading some book from Yiseng, which is interesting. And every combat node that we complete, it's another page they're going to be reading. Thank God, can I get replaced by the DS Wayward Association? Wayfarer Corp is, you know, they're trying. This is one of the aspects of the city that makes for the most interesting things for what's it called tabletops is the corporate wars, because with every wing trying to maintain the secrecy of their singularity and all that, and every other wing aspirant trying to carve their own path there, it makes for some very good, very compelling tabletop shenanigans if you don't want to focus on the larger aspect of the city. There we go, another combat node down. Sorry. Alright, on to the shop, and then on to the fight. Replace Rhodian skill. Yeah. Let's get more orange in here. We need more lust. Ooh, so much lust. Bleed, please. Oh, La Mancha Land All-Day Pass, the token of victory, and the Mask of the Parade. And Phlebotomy Pack too, I want that, give me that. Mersos, replace March Conductor. And let's try fusing it. Bleed, and I never got this bleed gift, so we're getting it for the first time. I see, oops, gotta reload. Alright, see you in a bit. All Blood Fiend allies, base Q coin power +1. I love these messes that swap by memes. It's memes, and I'm trying to make some shitty fake ads to put there for every single Wing Corp. I have one for K Corp that it will appear at some point in there, but I want to make one for every other Corp that we have, like literally just a shitpost collage of things. All Blood Fiend allies base skill coin +1. Deal Blood Feast consumed divided by 10% skill damage. Turn end among allies with bleed. True allies with the least HP heal by 5% and gain 10 shimmering Blood Fiend. We no longer need to use. Oh, Warp Corp, thanks for the follow. It's helps like you wouldn't believe, my parent. Here's to you. On enemy Q increases Blood Feast by enemy core max HP divided by 10. Turn enemy ally did this turn, allies gain true attack power up. In encounters where backup enemies appear, when a new enemy is being bleed. This is a very good gift for our bleed boys. I am bleed. That is not bleed. That is tremor. I specifically asked for bleed. Why did he give me tremor? All right, let's try that again. There we go. Is that enough to make hemorrhagic shock? Very nice. Ooh. So do you main bleed? Mayhaps. I main the Kurokomo clan. They are bleed, yes, so technically I main bleed, but I also would say that I technically main the Kurokomo clan. I prefer them to other. Hello, Moises, welcome. Tomorrow I will be doing the Rufo Reflect trial at the afternoon. But I pretty much run every single ID, every single team. I already run charge IDs a few times before, because I am doing these streams on a position of privilege, as I do currently own every single ID and every single ego. Hello, Dulcinea. I despise your fight, but we are here to take care of that, shall we? Fool us residents, coming at you hot. I wonder what I mean. A mystery indeed. Rupture, right?
꿰뚫려라.
이요, 당연히 그렇게 해야지.
Ah, mirror match.
보면 뭘 써야 하는지 느낌이 오잖아. 에?
행진했고 이것이
Technically, my build branches off to that. But yeah, my favorite team in the game is Kurokumo, and I wish we had more IDs. Tomorrow I'm gonna do the reflect trial with the Kurokumo, see how they do, because I had a good time with them when I fought Rufo for the first time. But today is just my daily stream. I always stream around the same time. The stream has been going for 2.5 hours now, so I usually start 2 hours ago. And yeah, I do daily streams for, like, we take an ID group, we examine them, see what makes them tick, and once we finish the dungeon, we read some books. The book part is still experimental, so don't expect some super high quality reading from me. Right, we need Lust Resonance. Not really. Right now, the books that we're focusing on is Yiseng selected works. And those are probably going to be the most complex out of all the books, because most of it is poetry, but it's still fascinating. If you on the YouTube channel, links are on the description of the channel, all that, there is the VOD for all of these streams. Not too long ago, I read one of the texts that is the best description for the people of the city. So if you want to check that out, it's probably one of the inspirations for the city as well, and for the disease of the mind, that thing that Carmen wanted to cure. Reading Mercer's book. What a coincidence! Once we're through with Yiseng's book, that one's the one I'm gonna read on stream next. I was going to read every book in order of sinners, but I chose not to, simply because, well, Honglu is sinner number 5. I am quite scared to reading his book because his book is quite long. I have read The Stranger before, and it kind of infuriated me, and I said that a few times here on stream as well. That and Metamorphosis. Don't get me wrong, they are excellent books, but the book kind of infuriated me because, yeah, they're not judging him for the murder, but they're judging him for being a human and all that, and I hated that part. It just made me angry. The festival will end. Oh god, Honglu's books is practically impossible. It is a gigantic ordeal that I will face it as the final boss of this idea of reading every book. So don't look forward to it, or do, I don't know. How are you with Hard Blood, my dude? You are 5. You're ready to use your big skill. My Blood 15 is almost complete. All I'm missing is Prince of La Mancha and Merceau. Isn't he shardable right now? I have no idea what units are or are not shardable. Here we go. Try reading Hit This, but I gave up after chapter 3. Hit This is one of the ones that are gonna be early on because I haven't read it myself. I know some plot points from it, but I don't know the full details of it. Overture!
왕의 피를 하사한다.
Now, let me show you how it's done. Bloodfountain Merceau is invented from Canto 8. So that means it's not shardable, right? Because it's Canto 8. Ooh, my condolences. Well, who knows? If you save up for the Walpurgis, you might get lucky and roll him. I tried reading Heathcliff's has very big mistakes for that Merceau. Oh, I wonder why. I do wonder why. I'm trying to get King of Hatred Dawn. Yeah, Warburgs is coming, and once it comes, you can just shard it. Just save up your boxes. Now, I know gambling and doing gacha is fun and all, but I am very, very stingy with my lunacy, except the mistake I did some time ago, but I'm already recovering from it. If I can grind for a unit, I will grind for a unit. Mirror dungeons aren't hard, and even if the ones I do take like up to 2 hours because I'm not ring raiding outside of if there's like one enemy, why I'm not going to ring raid. And even if it takes like 2 hours, I'm still getting the materials. And again, position of privilege, I have all IDs, so I only have to grind for 1 or 2 when they come out. Let's get offense levels, clash power. I can get clash power. I swear to God, I don't really add a warp announcer for Warp Night Project Moon Studios turning into Love Town. Hey, man, who knows? Love Town might be a Warburg. Oh God. All right, we have completed the. We just updated the number of combat nodes complete here. We have completed the reopening. It's time for the Infinite Procession. Right here. Which is fighting the La Mancha trio at the end. I don't think they're gonna add the warp announcer. Is this is Rose Hunter, right? Yeah, sure, Rose Hunter. I'm not sure if they're gonna up the warp announcer. I think it was a reward, wasn't it? I joined Limbus the day the warp interval Bokak was about to add. Ah, my condolences, man. It will come around. I think it's. I don't know if it can be. I don't know much about announcements because I don't much care for them. I'm mostly interested in IDs. The only one I cared enough to commit a mistake with my lunacy was Leihang, and he's never leaving that spot over there. So I don't know much how you obtain them. Can they be rolled normally? I think they can. And at some point we'll get a rebot gag of the events. I don't put it past them. But everyone else that I don't really care about. Again, I speak of oppositional privilege. I like every ID because I don't play meta stuff like, oh, this is the best charge ID or this is the best lead ID. I just play the teams that are provided to me. I have the Blood Fiend team, I'm going to use the Blood Fiend team. I have the Kurokumo clan, I'm gonna use the Kurokumo clan. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad. I have the ring, I'm gonna use the ring. And then I'm gonna make memes about the ring of the Nibelungen. I don't know how to keep the blood count up for Blood Fiend IDs. It's not that difficult, Moises and Hickey. You just need to do, you know, properly do one-sideds. But if you're talking about a bleed count outside of the mirror dungeon, that's a little bit more complicated. I got Gebra, and it's the researcher Kira Ryoko and her daughter, and the announcer for the Limbus University. Isn't Ryoshu and daughter from the hold on, I need to update the amount of combat nodes we have completed. That's 27 now. Let's check the mystery pack here. It's the Brazen Bow. We are going to kill you. I meant to kill you. There we go. Drink water. Drink water. Thirsty boy, aren't you? You want some of these water? Come and get it. 3 lost resonance, here we go. Because again, one of the reasons why I never paid attention to stuff like count, because I see a lot of people on Twitter, on other platforms as well, saying like, this ID doesn't have enough count, it's count negative, and I never understood that. And I realize now why I never understood it, because I only play the mirror dungeon. Sure, I played the story, and I never had a problem with it, because I play like a Library of Ruina, I win the clash, I do damage, bleed, rupture, and everything else is extra. But now I kind of understand, sort of, because I only play the mirror dungeon, and applying count and potency is never an issue as long as you know a little bit about how ego gifts work. And you were gonna get the ego gifts for the keyword you select anyway, so never was a problem for me. So I never understood what people complained about IDs not having good count. And I do really understand that this is a mistake on my part not to pay attention to that, because if I keep track of a good count application, I can get more out of the damage. I'll be honest, I won't see many more bloody builds as they got replaced by the ring. Again, same thing I said before, Warp Corp. I don't care much about meta. If I like the Blood Fiends, I'm gonna use the Blood Fiends. I have the ring IDs. If I want to play the ring IDs, I'll play the ring IDs. Just like how I play the Kurokumo clan with against every boss that I can, unless I get hard countered by them, I will use the Kurokumo clan because I love them. Is the ring better? Yes, they are. Do I care? Nah. I'm gonna play them anyway. Do I like the Blood Fiends? They're cool. I think they're nice. I don't like their... I don't know if I'm gonna play them forever. They're cool vampires, and I do like vampires. But yeah, was begging for Warp Rodion. Yeah, she was teased. I think we'll eventually get an ID for every sinner from Warp. So don't you worry about. Because aside from the event one that we got for Heathcliff, I do believe that all of the other IDs are generic. Not generic. It's they're not from season. They are standard fare. Doing this is my first Refraction Railway line run. Ah, Railway is something else entirely. Good luck, Moises. It's fun. It's fun. Especially fun when you played the first time when it came out, because we didn't know what the fuck we're fighting, and we got blindsided by my farm empties. I couldn't imagine seeing that Sinclair working at W Corp. Sinclair is going to be a paper pusher for W Corp until they promote him and send him to the trains and he's the traumatized kid. Or maybe the awakening begins and he learns to enjoy it. Alright, we did complete another combat node. Oops, forgot to update it. There we go. That's 28 pages. If they make it this man, I might distort. Hey, here at W Corp we don't judge. We do, but we not openly. We judge based on your performance. And if your performance is bad, well, well, screw you if your performance is bad. Let's see. There we go. Versus Rojo counter also flicks blood count while her S3 flicks true blood count. Yes! Mender doesn't counter flicks true bleed count while her powered up counter flicks true blood count. While Lara counter flicks count, if target has to do with target side effect. Indeed! And one thing about the Barber is that only her skill true applies a mark. So you might want to watch out for that always. I'm learning a lot. Yeah, the Blood Fiends have a lot of synergy with each other. It's just a little difficultly worded. It's a bit of a word salad, to be honest. In certain way, they work similar to Charge in some aspects. The Blood Feast, at least. Bleed is its own thing, but I call it Blood Charge, essentially. That's what Blood Feast is. And the charge is shared amongst everyone, but the IDs of a higher kindred have priority on the charge. Like, this is your charge, this is how much charge was consumed, and everyone gets to use charge at some point. It's a communal charge bucket. But we squeeze people into the bucket. So if it is a charge main, but branches up the bleed and rupture. Ah. If your performance is bad, Human Resources is going to hear about this. Yes, I do like the idea of Human Resources in the city, because I think they are the most pure form of human resources. They're not even trying to pretend to be like your friend or something. No, you are resources, you are also human, we are literally using you. In my tabletop campaign, when they were invading a corporation, one of the characters decided to pretend to be someone that wanted to work for the company, but the lady at HR figured out he was trying to infiltrate, and so they put him on the advanced human resources. And the advanced human resources was a chair that would brainwash you, so you would become the most, the best employee that you can ever be. Of course, the character being insanely lucky, and that's part of his backstory as well. He didn't get brainwashed completely, at least. But yeah, well, it was fun.
라만 차량들을 뒤엎는다.
Yeah, that's literally what human resources are. That's in the name, but people forget about it. There's resources, they're human, and they are gonna manage those resources. We don't really care if you are. You don't really care if you're, you know, having a mental breakdown, you're suffering from depression, your dog just died or anything. You're a resource for the company, and we are gonna manage you. We just need you to work, really. We don't really care. But yeah. And because it's not, what we're doing is not illegal, because what's illegal in the city is difficult. There are very clear line draws for what is illegal in the city, because I imagine that laws, as we know it, are only applied to areas where the Zwei are patrolling or a nest. And the greater scope of laws is anything that the head imposes on the people. Because remember, the head knows everything that is happening on the city at any given time. So the head knows what you're doing at every given moment. You cannot escape their eyes, the beholders. So even with that, they only have like a few rules, like guns, pay taxes, don't bring no human things into the city, no AI, and other rules that we might not know about. So as long as you just, you know, follow these esoteric, vague rules that we have, we don't care what you do. Gather an army, give them everyone an axe, pillage half the city. We won't do anything to stop you. But the moment you bring a non-human in the city, that's a little too far, buddy. Now we're gonna have to step in. The head scares you, as it should. I love that we don't know much about it. We are only able to, you know, theory craft what their final goal is. I had a theory after reading Inuit by Yiseng again today, that they are cultivating humanity in a very, very weird way. Because they went out of their way to banish anything that wasn't human from the city to the outskirts. They work hard to make sure that emotions are taken to their peak, and the way they do that is by allowing humanity to flourish in its most deranged ways, because the mega corporations have no government oversight aside from the head's rules, you know? So they are allowed to do everything they want. The head didn't make T-Corp collects time from people, or they didn't make they didn't make the warp trains trap people in hundreds of thousands of years of suffering in isolation. The corporations did that, not the head. The head sure allowed them to do this, and by extension they are, you know, guilty as well, but they didn't do it. They just, here, you want to do that? Go ahead, buddy. I don't care. Yeah, you're breaking into my rules. No? All right, you have fun. Do you, buddy? All right, another node complete. Let's get going. Sure. In any case, I think the head's fascinating. I love that we don't know much about it, and I would be very, very disappointed if at the end of this game we're fighting the head, because I don't think that's the final goal. I don't think we're headed towards that. Maybe Diaz is, but certainly not Dante. All right, let's see. Replace your with the Chu. There we go. Ah, finally, UPS system. That's a good damage up for us. Let's get it running. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. UPS system and wrist guards are my favorite combo for damage in this game. Tangled bundle, and then we have the bloody gadget as well. Let's get the lust feather as well, because that inflicts the burn. This one gives rupture for everyone. So tell me, what corporation do you hate the most? Don't answer wrong. Ah, rhetorical question. corporation I hate the most from the city. I mean, maybe N Corp, because we don't know enough about N Corp. We've only seen the Inquisitors. There's U Corp that we also don't know much about, so I can't make a fair judgment call. I don't really have anything against any of them, honestly. It just feels like they're doing their thing, which they are, but still, they're just doing their thing. Sanguine fragrance. A little wish making, why not? Nephew? I'm a little old to be a nephew, but I guess can still fit into the nephew thing. But yeah, I don't think I have any. T Corp is a bit nightmarish, sure, but honestly, yeah. For as bad as all the corporations are, and they are, we don't know that much to hate then, because that's the same thing that becoming a Limbus company fan that can read. Congratulations, Moises. The awakening has begun. Sorry it took so long to get to your message. I was distracted. So, as bad as the corporations are, and they're just different shades of gray. And just like Hubert tells us in the Time-Killing Intervallo, he says, like, especially when Rodion says, like, isn't this like evil and cruel and fucked up? Why don't you stop it? You are the CEO. Like, yeah, you say this is like evil, cruel, and fucked up, and I agree with you, but have you gone to a tour around the city? Can you tell me that everything you see is evil and fucked up as well? Because different cultures, different parts of the city have different cultures. Different definitions of what's good and what's evil. Oh, mirror match. That voice is so funny. Like in one district you're used to like living under the thumb, and if you live in the nest you're following the rules. And the other one where they do periodic sacrifices to some other syndicate, it's another rule. Differences in cultures, just like we have in real life, where you go to a country and you expect it to behave in a certain way there. Mirror match again, and you don't. The best example we can give is like Japan, for example. People hate when you go to Japan and don't respect their culture there, their their society. And some people that come out, for example, from India, they like, there's no where India has the castes, right? Like one guy superior to the other based on the what's it called, the conditions of their, not conditions of their birth, the circumstances of his birth, circumstances of his life. And so they go to another country where no one gives a shit about that, like America, and they think they can talk shit to a police officer because of they are higher caste in the Indian system, and then they go to another country, no one knows about that, and they get punched in the face. It's the same thing here in the city, and I'm going on a tangent, I know, but let me wrap around. Every part of the cities has a different culture, different rules, different syndicates, different wings, different offices, different taboos. So essentially every part of the city is a different what's it called? A different country by itself. So I really don't have anything bad to say about any of the corporations, since they're essentially just a government of another part of the city, another country. So really, yeah, they're just different shades of evil and red. And they're all fucked up because all the singularities seem to wrap around, like, this started with good intentions or good spirits, and then it got corrupted by human greed into something evil and fucked up. I wonder what the Blood Fiend Trio are thinking of seeing the sinners turned into copies of them. I have a image of the Priest of La Mancha here fighting the Blood Fiend group here, and where the two of them are dead and he's panicked. It's the funniest shit ever. But the music is so good. Here we go. So really, I don't have anything bad to say about any of the corporations. I'd like to know more about them. I want my lore. Feed me more lore. I love the corporate wars that we have, like the not the wing war, but like I want to imagine the shadow war that happens in between wings, you know, because they have to keep their singularity and their patents a secret, so they can't be exploited by the other corporations. I want to know the amount of shenanigans that corporate espionage in the world of Limbus company of Project Moon go, like hiring a office to do industrial sabotage on another wing to weaken their position or to spy on them and then bring back the secret of their singularity, etc, etc. That shit would do. That would be so delicious to know about, man. It's essentially like a cyber Shadowrun. Right, Dawn, punish her! Destroyed! Ah, love your streams, hope to catch you next time. Add me on Discord. I will not add you on Discord. I think I put the rules on the chat here that we do not put any links here. Sorry, but had a bad experience with that before, and I'm not running the risk. If you are a human, I will apologize, but well, I had bad experience with that. We're not repeating that again. Imagine we have to fight a distorted Dante. That would be cool. But Dante seems to be immune to distortion phenomena, just like how he's immune to being like losing his memory. All right. The final floor of this dungeon today, because I'm already been going for long enough. I wasn't expecting to do like a super 3-hour stream today, but that's it. Let's take a look. Base power, clash power, offense level. We'll take offense level, clash power. And none of these are good. I'll take the pre-order discount. The dream ending right here for me. All right. Let's finish this. And the second last stage of the Fraction Railway, last stage is going to be Chromer. If it's Fraction Railway 1, the last stage is going to be my form empties. It's not a spoiler, it's just what it is. Especially since it seems that Dante is talking to Carmen all the time on the IDs, upties, you know? Or rather, she is talking to him. Every attack was related to Durante. If they continue with the teams of previous games, it will probably be if that comes to pass. Which I don't believe it will, but still a very interesting theory. Because it's difficult to distort if Dante does not have his memories. Because distortion happens when something that is the pillar of your convictions, something that you believe so firmly that it becomes central to your ego, to your person, suddenly breaks and crumbles in one fell swoop. And over time, but it has to have that decisive blow. That's when distortion happens. That is according to, that's not my words, that's according to Moses on Distortion Detective. Distortion progresses like a disease. It erodes over time, and then there is a breaking blow that will cause your distortion. And for Dante specifically, since he has no memory or no core to who he is, because amnesia, I think it's going to be a little hard for him to distort. But then again, we do have the monoliths that forces distortion, so maybe that will be the thing? Who knows? Who knows? Funny little creature. Yeah, they can make anything happen if they want it, but they have established previous rules to how these things work, so... Alright, when I begin reflection, instead of looking at future stage in the last icon, I'll be out of the form empties. This is the correct naming. Yeah, my form empties, yep. Buddha statue. Anyway, they can do whatever they want with the setting, and they already do, obviously, but the fact of the matter is they have established certain rules for how these things happen, and if they suddenly break it, they can. It's just that would be kind of lame if they did, with no explanation as to why this is happening, you know? Alright, I'll be here. Once we're through with this pack, we are gonna read our lovely, lovely book for 32 pages. Probably more because we're still not done. Bang, bang, bang.
이것이 서광의 피날레다. 왕의 비호를 하사한다.
기원을 가진 제대로 무너져.
놀만치 노른 것 같은 게 이제 싸게 치어불고 들어가자. 고생들이었다.
This cap gun. I'm not gonna show you on stream, but I love this thing. I paid like 50 Brazilian bucks for it, and while I don't have any ammo for it because it has only like a explosive cap, like the name of the thing, just playing around, it's fucking fun as hell. Maybe I should do some modifications so you can shoot like with a rubber band or something. 50 Brazilian bucks, yep. I paid it in 2 times and it's just a shitty little pop gun. Also, welcome, Mijamiera. Hi, I think this is your first time here in the stream. I'd like to welcome you. Oh boy, we got the Fang Hunt against Blood Fiends. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Not at the tail end, but like at the end of the Mirror Dungeon. Once we beat Sancho, we are going to be reading a book from Yiseng. 32 pages of it, in fact. Ooh, that crushed her good. Jeez, that's a lot of damage. Got her straight to stagger plus. That's bad. How about we do this? Yeah.
행진했고 이것이 서광의 피날레다.
Obliterated. Speaking of, I'm gonna have to make these guys for the tabletop upcoming campaign. I think I'm gonna do the same philosophy I did for the Picapola. I'm just gonna copy them 1-to-1.
그것은 그 짝에 갖다 써야지. 별로 어려울
Alright, dawn time.
그래, 그렇게 황홀히 피어나고 피어나고 피어나라.
I didn't explode into blood. Not good enough damage anyway. AoE coming right up, coming in, out. We need another lust, however, and we're gonna get it right here. Actually, no. Get it over here. There we go, lust resonance. Very nice. Blood is flowing, may the carnage never ends.
욕심이 나긴 나겠어.
Recover your health. There we go. That's a nice chunk of health healing. Didn't kill him. We got this less resonance there. Go. What gift are we using? What gift is the one that's popping bleed at the very beginning? Is it the exclusive for the Blood Fiend one? Because I want that for my Kurokuro runs. Random gift, thank you. Another node complete, so 33. Technically, 33. We have the bear here. We're gonna take another pack here. Probably the same guys. We'll just start. We'll pop right back with the Dawn's ego. I gotta finish my MDE still. It's lacking hard. Gotta get it done, brother. Gotta get them boxes. Gotta get them. Are you doing it with adversities? It's a neutral. It's a neutral. All right, but don't pop off with that then. Here we go. We are letting one attack go one-sided. I don't like that. And that guy's fast too. You might have to pop that AoE regardless. I'll leave it prepared. Oath is probably going to get staggered here. What's up with you boys? Why are you running tails? When you have max sanity? I guess because we are Blood Fiends, they are getting a little extra on us. I never read their kit because come on, we fight them like once or twice. As expected, she is staggered. How about we double the Yearning Marcella? And a Garnet of Thorns. Match for some reason. Garden of Thorns for a little bit of healing now. I like this slash damage. I thought it would be pierce damage. It's a Crown of Thorns. Oh yeah, so we have lucky coins, so we use it twice. What are some tips should I notice how to do the reflection railway on line 1? Right now you only have access to the 1, right? Because I don't know which railway is open. I do remember that the Mobius one was hellish, but there isn't really a tactic, only like fight the enemy the first time. Fight it the first time, bumble through it, take notes, see what affinities the enemy, like the enemy has, see an affinity weakness, and see if they're weak to any type of physical damage and try to match those with an ID. I love how some skewers don't remember what kind of attack they are. My player's block attack is flesh, yeah. Ryoshu's just special, you know that. Let's do Yearning Marcella again, a counter here, and go! Go, my freaks! We're just running security on La Mancha land right now, fighting the vampire hunters outside. Anyway, Moises, look at the enemies, see what scenes they're weak to, see what type of physical damage they're weak to, and try to match it with your team. Remember, enemies and allies, by the way, have two types of damage resistance. They have the physical ones, and they have the sin ones. Physical, elemental, and physical. If you hit someone through an element that they are weak to, and a damage type they are weak to, you're gonna do quadruple damage, even if they are not staggered. And if they are staggered, the best option for damage is hitting them with a hidden affinity that they are weak to, because the damage type doesn't matter anymore. Because once they're staggered, they take double damage from physical damage, not from elemental thin affinity. Think we're gonna finish them off here now? Yes, we are. Stab! Stab! Stab harder! Here we go. Keep stabbing them. They have lots of health. Let's harvest them. Alright, node complete. Another page we're gonna read. At this point, you might as well read the entire book. Or what's left of it, anyway. Let's avoid the fight because I need to finish this quickly. Oh, it's this piece of shit. So I got PTC from Reaction of Line 5. Which one is Reaction of Line 5? I don't recall it by name. Oh, we're gonna end at exactly 35 combat nodes here. Nice. All right, let's get our... Why did I not have that yet? All right, sure. Talisman bundle, yeah. Gimme more of that. The newest one. The one with 400 roses? I'm trying to remember here. The only one that keeps in mind is the one with the moth. I'll look it up. Hold on. Railway 5 Limbus. That was merry-go-round. Yeah, it's the one with 400 roses. It wasn't so bad. It wasn't that bad. It was okay-ish. Sure, you have to fidangle with 2 different things, but it was fine. Anything else here that need to mix? There we go. Look at the rock. Oh no, we had the right. They hadn't had the red stained recipient yet all this time. Excuse you? Oh well, we have it now. Then we sell something worthless real quick. Let's sell. We don't need the cards anymore because this is the end of the dungeon. We don't need this. Fuck you. Fuck off. And let's enhance that recipient to maximum. And now we are bleed maxing to the extremes, brother. It was just the second part. The second part had the what's his name? The shooter, right? They're Freischütz. Right, let's lock in for this fight. Ooh, yeah! Hi, Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Come on, Dawn. Don't be shy. Come on out. Hi, Dawn. Hello, Dawn. Ready to have some turns skipped over? You have 6 attacks and we have 5 sinners. Ooh. Ooh, Manchu. Dominating. There we go. Skichu. Look, Dawn, this is you. I love how she pushes you back when she clashes. No bullet in 500 season 5 AD clones. The MVP Kapla, I try to avoid them in Mirror Dungeon because they're annoying, but they're not too difficult because you can nuke or jump anyone that is trying to use a eagle before it's time. The unforgivable sin. And Fell Bullet was easy. I honestly don't have anything to say about him. Just to regenerate half her health to avoid getting screwed over. Interesting. Well, we're gonna attack you first because we are faster. Stab! Stab! Stab harder! Let's skip those pesky attacks of yours, shall we? Ah, you are so very slow. So very slow. What a shame. We are all faster than you are. I don't even need to lock in for this. This is gonna be... I could re-rate this, honestly. We have all the bleed gifts. And I didn't take anything special to get more gifts at the beginning. We just got lucky. The only thing we got was the level up Grace to keep up with the levels, and that stopped working 3 packs ago. Oh, again this, huh? Alright. Alright, alright. I see, I see. Still struggling, huh? Oh, it doesn't matter, I think. Everybody stand. Also doesn't work. Sashara usually does it. There we go. Alright, we're fully charged with rescue trees now.
행진했고 이것이 서로의 피날레다. 왕의 비호를 하사한다.
쓸데없는 관심 필요 없다.
Otis turned into a wet dog.
깨어놓겠어.
Cool attack. Unfortunately, it's time for you to die. Dawn, finish her off. Dawn versus Dawn, mirror match.
해야도 되지?
Oh my god, the 63 offensive.
라샹.
알아서 잘하고. 놀만치 노른 것 같은 게.
That was pretty kino, I'd say. That was pretty good. And that's 35 combat nodes complete. And now, let's finish the dungeon right here and right now. We have completed our achievement, which was the goal of today's stream. Now we're gonna do some light reading. I don't care about any of these right now because we're already done. Take an extra token of victory. It was incredibly easy, yeah. The Blood Fiends aren't all that washed up, I'll tell you what. Unfortunately, this is where we are going to stop, so we are going back to Forfeit. Yep. We're quite done here. No surprise, it was her that dealt the most damage, and the least damage was Gregor, unfortunately.
그러니 가릴 것 없이 마음껏 마셔.
Claim my rewards. Very nice. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. With our mirror dungeon complete, we are done with the game part of the stream today. We are going up to the next part, which is the book reading. We have accumulated 35 combat nodes. That means we're going to be reading to 35 pages of Yiseng's selected books. Now, if you're only here for the mirror dungeon, well, it's time, it's over. We're already done with the mirror dungeon. Let me just confirm if I got the achievement or if I'm gonna have to do this again on my own time. I think we're golden on that regard. Yes, we have completed. Achievement done. All right. With that said, if you're here, you're not playing level 6666? Yeah, it's getting there, huh? Just a few more. Anyway, if you're here only for the mirror dungeon, the stream's pretty much over now. Now we're gonna direct our attention to book reading. As promised. Let me just open it up here. There we go. So, as promised, we have 35 pages to read. We are currently at page 198. Let me just get some water. And we can begin. Yiseng's House, translated by Dong-Mi Choi. In December of 2016, I was able to spend a month in Seoul on a translation residence funded by the literature translation. This isn't the story, this is someone writing about Yiseng's House, sorry. In December 2016, I was able to spend a month in Seoul on a translation residency funded by Literature Translation Institute of Korea. I stayed in downtown Seoul next to Gwanghwan Square and the beautiful Gyeongbokgung and Changdeong-gung palaces. I used to run around with my siblings when I was a child. I was within walking distance of Yiseng's house. Yiseng, trained as an architect, was an influential avant-garde poet and writer. He lived here from age 1 to 23, raised by his well-off uncle and aunt. The building itself is not the original structure, but this site was where his uncle's house used to stand. I thought the design of the house beautifully mirrored the interior of Yiseng's and his protagonist's psyche. His protagonists are often idle, penniless, tuberculosis-ridden artists holed up in dark rooms. Yiseng himself died from tuberculosis at a young age of 27 in Tokyo. As you walk through the front glass door, you see a dark metal door that opens up to an almost pitch-dark chamber. Poet Kim Hyun-soon, who accompanied me to the Yiseng's house, pointed me that this dark space used to be an attic. In traditional Korean houses, in the main room of the house where the guests are also received, there is a sliding paper door that opens up to an attic. Traditionally, the main room was where men sat and performed their scholarly duties, but who knows what they really did while women toiled away, cleaning up after their mess. It could be thought of as a living room, but for my family it turned into a bedroom at night. The attic is an ideal space for any child. I spent many hours gazing down at our tiny courtyard from the attic window because everyone and everything looked so different from the vantage point. During summers, I pressed my tummy against the cool, bare floor of the attic and read for hours, trying to forget about the heat. Inside the attic chamber, slides of Yi-Sang's work, including his drawings, were projected onto a wall. Experimentalist Yi-Sang and his contemporaries were strongly influenced by European modernism, particularly Dadaism and Surrealism, which came to be introduced in Korea mostly through Japanese translation during the occupation of 1910 to 1945. One of his protagonists, who is Yi-Sang himself, mentions cocktail and says that he used to order postcards for the international modern art exhibitions held in Tokyo. In both of the short stories, Spider and Spider Meet Pigs and True Story Lost Flower, Yi-Sang utilizes Korean transliteration of English and French words, which was thought to be a radical thing to do at the time. But writing and publishing in Korean was even more of a radical thing. Writing and publishing in Korean signaled a political opposition, a literary resistance to the Japanese colonial rule. I was initially introduced to Yi-Sang's stories through my father's love of his stories. He told me several times that he read Yi-Sang late into the night in order to forget about his hunger, that Yi-Sang's stories helped him through his bleak childhood. Yi-Sang's stories are bleak too, yet there is also much humor and satire in them through self-mockery. My father must have identified with Yi-Sang's helplessness, emaciated, hungry, male artist figures who somehow managed to get through another drab day. As the resented child of a second marriage, my father was shunned, ill-fed, and made to sleep in the maid's room. A fairy tale indeed. While the maid darned a sock placed over a light bulb, my father read books in Japanese. To keep reading late into the night, he had to translate to her what he was reading. And to avoid the nuisance and difficulty of translating, he offered her just brief synopsis and told her that he could tell more only if he kept on reading. For me, translation began with translating for my mother in Hong Kong. I dreaded it. I dreaded exposing my inadequacies, my failures in language. Translation for me then was, and it still is to some degree, a painfully repetitive journey of farewell and return, between home and elsewhere, between Korean and my frayed English. Only much later I learned that cultural imperialism used language to produce failure, inferiority. As a child from the neo-colony of the US, I had already failed even before I set foot in the British colony. Unlike my father, I didn't know how to cheat my way out of translation. I could only mumble and sulk. For Yi-Sang, my father, Japanese, was their colonial language, as English is a colonial language for me. We did not choose it, it chose us, historically, and that's the nature of a colonial language. It finds you. It can even track you down via the US Terminal High Altitude Area Defense Anti-Missile System and make a foreigner out of you in your own country, which is to say, your home is no longer your home. How else could you explain a golf course instantly turned into a military installation site for THAAD? A fairy tale indeed. And you remain as a colonial subject within or without. Hence, the most poignant thing I noticed while translating Yi-Sang was how his protagonists were coping with their homesickness in Tokyo, as well as at home in Seoul. Yi-Sang uses a foreign word signals homesickness, a state of perpetual colonial exile. I am self-trained but well-trained nevertheless in detecting homesickness. I rely on my attic vantage point when translating, and translation is a coping mechanism for homesickness, my wings of return. I also know how to detect dread, fairy tale dread. Yi-Sang's stories are essentially colonial fairy tales. In Spider and Spider Meet Pigs, a husband and wife are spiders living in a room, as tiny as a Satsumast orange box, filled with spider stench and garbage. Sorry? We know that the fairy tale spiders by the fact that spider husband despises household goods. Any average spider would revel in spinning its cobwebs amidst the household clutter. And his wife is also a fairy tale spider in her own right. Her socks change seasonally and she jumps at any chance of buying new clothes despite getting tossed out and bruised by humanity. Spider and spider, spider and spider, sucking on each other, spider husband, hopelessly weak from TB, tuberculosis, lives off of his spider wife, a barmaid who entertains and lends her scrawny body to pigs, colonial capitalist investors. Spider husband dreads leaving his room. He dreads the outside world. When he goes out, he suffocates from wall after wall stuck to the buildings and all the shut windows. The new modern space that has emerged under the occupation. By rule, colonial space is a confined, compressed space. That's how human, natural, financial resources are extracted and exploited. Oh boy. As if conversing with someone, he gets gestured with his arm and circled around the paper thin wall, so I investment wondering what's inside. Hence, Yi-Sang's sentences are also compressed, deprived of air, barely leaving any gaps between words, syllabically speaking. And if there are any hint of air, it's nordinary air. The syllabic silks are spun within the spider couple's claustrophobic fruit box-like room, and the silks extend all the way to the investment office. The office walls are covered in graph paper-like cobwebs, painted upon down with their red and blue lights. How would a pair of scrawny husband and wife spiders survive and resist under the colonial rule if not for silk language? Yi-Sang's silk language is essentially a fairy tale language under a particular fairy tale condition, which still persists today, more or less under a different imperial domination that overpowers even the former colonial occupier. Fairy tale indeed. Translating Yi-Sang's powers, even the former colonial occupier. Translating Yi-Sang involves unraveling and respinning his syllabic silks. Translators can add and should change socks seasonally. We can even darn brown-colored furry socks. One of the first stories that my father still remembers from his childhood is a tale about someone living utterly alone in such destitution that the walls of his room had no paper. They were covered in newspaper instead. In Najiza Oshima's Death by Hanging film, 1968, a great work of satire that confronts Japanese imperial legacy and its discrimination against Zainichi Koreans, an execution chamber turns into a living room. Yi-Sang is trying to learn from Ryoshi to shorten words. He's not trying to learn how to shorten words. Here, let me show you. We have an example of that in-game. It's called LCE Eagle Lantern. Check the name of the skill. The word vomit here is not it's intentional. Anyway, continue on. Book. A Korean family is living in such an abject poverty that their living room walls are covered in newspaper. A while back, when I first attempted reading Yi-Sang's poems, I sent my father photocopies of the poem Crow's Eye View, not akin to decipher for me the Chinese characters Yi-Sang utilized. My father sent back the photocopied pages with his meticulous notes, each character numbered and explained. For his daughter, he didn't try to cheat his way out of translation. I used the pages my father returned to me as wallpaper for Yi-Sang's dark attic. Inside, there is a narrow staircase that takes up to a tiny balcony, just big enough for a child or a bird. Alright, now it's in Korean, so this is gonna count as a red page. I can't read it. Except for the original spacing Spider Mid Peaks with first appearance in Chuchang, June 1963. Spider Mid Peaks. I am not reading this. I'm sorry, Yi-Sang, but I am not reading that. I think this is the version that is like spaced out properly. I get the idea that he's trying to like, oh, I am, compressing the dialogue, but I'm not reading that, he's saying. All right. Spiders and spider meet pigs. That night, his wife fell down the stairs. Some quick-witted elder advised him not to needlessly worry about tomorrow. Spot on, he lived to the fullest fully one day at a time. Under the command of such gospel, he grovels, silent like a mute. Don't be fooled. He lives to the fullest. Ask his wife what. His wife doesn't reply because nothing ever gets said, and therefore the couple stay quiet like plants. But they aren't plants. Not only are they not plants, but not even animals. At least, not ordinary ones. Maybe that's why he can't remember at all how he ended up with his wife in a room as tiny as a Satsuma orange box. Beyond today, there is another today. Just before tomorrow, there is today. Who cares except today, 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 today. Today, 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 today. Just like the tunnel vision of a coach horse with blinders on. Opens his eyes. This time, reality appears. In his dream, he dreams of his real life and his real life. In his real life, he dreams a dream, and they are both amusing. 4 in the afternoon, morning got shifted. Is it morning? It's every day. But of course, he lives for today, one day at a time. What kind of huge pregnant thing has dumped me here? I am perpetually lazy. Let's see how much more lazy I can get while pretending to be human. Just wanted to be lazy, stay endlessly lazy, even when things get nosy around here, or get noisy around me. All I have to do is stay totally oblivious and lazy. Live, get lazy, then die. It's a piece of cake, 4 in the afternoon. What happened to all the other hours? What's the big deal? Think I'll freak out just because there's not even a single hour in the day? Spider again. My wife is definitely a spider, he believes. Wish she would reincarnate and review her spider shape. However, one hears of anyone killing a spider with a gunshot. Normally you step on spiders and crush them, but I can't be bothered to put on my shoes. Never mind getting up. It's all the same to me. Inside the room, outside the room, when I think more about it, I can see my vein pulsing against my skinny bone, and my wrist laid on top of the blanket is as scaly as a hairy. This room is simply a spider. He's stretched out inside a spider, spider smell. This warm stench is the stench of a spider. The room is giving off an awful stink because it is a spider. However, he knows very well it's his wife that's the spider. He leaves her alone and he remains as lazy as he can, lying around so his wife, human spider, will have not even a hint of, space. Outside the room, his wife shuffling around. She's making breakfast, too early for tomorrow's morning and too late for today's. He briskly closes the door. Quickly, a cabinet covered in multicolored paper goes out of sight. It's hideous. He despises household goods altogether. What's he supposed to do with them anyway? What does today exist? Why does today exist? So that he has to stare at that cabinet? It's getting dark. He stays lazy so that today and the cabinet will vanish. But his wife is startled. He closes the door. Her husband, who is supposed to be asleep, so she begins to wonder. Maybe he needs to take a leak. Perhaps he's itchy. Why did he wake up? What's astonishing to her is that. How does he leave the way he does? And what's even more astonishing is how he sleeps. How does he keep on sleeping like that? Everything about him was abnormal. Husband, what makes them a married couple? Husband, even if she weren't his wife, she's ultimately a wife. But she thinks, what has my husband ever done for me? He's never even shielded me from the cold draft. As if frightened she certainly is, she opens the door and speaks to her husband, with that voice of hers, unfamiliar no matter how many times you hear it. Sweetheart, today's Christmas. It's warm like a spring day, not the source of their ruin, so please shave. His wife, cumbersome spider legs, refuse to vanish from his head. Yet, what she said about Christmas feels ice cold. Sorry. About Christmas feels ice cold. How did they end up as husband and wife? It's true that his wife is the one who pursued him. But why did she pursue him? No, why didn't she leave him? That's certain. When it becomes certain that she wasn't going to leave him after they were stuck as a couple for a year and a half, she left him. He was clueless as to why his wife had left him. That's why he had no idea how to find her. But his wife returned, and he knew why. Now he knows why his wife is not leaving him. That truly portends his wife is about to leave him again. At least that's how things seem based on his experience. But then he can't keep pretending not to know. He simply hopes that if his wife ends up leaving him again, she'll come right back to him, even if you know all along why she won't come back. He shaved, then went out to the street where everything had closed. As had been noted, Christmas was as warm as a spring day. The sun must have grown bigger while he's been away. The sun was too bright for his eyes, his skin coarse, dry, his legs heavy, and he got out a breath just staring at a wall after wall stuck to the buildings. His wife's white socks changed to brown-colored furry socks. Weather had only existed as news item while he was hiding out in his room. Winter had arrived even before the end of autumn. He gave out a cough as if he were greeting it for the very first time. A winter's day warm like a spring day. Perhaps a holiday like this was common all over the world, but the wind felt cold against his cheeks and nostrils. The bustling crowd, the shoe-shine boy carrying a heavy box, yelling, and all the shut windows were unbearably suffocating to him. He gasped, "Where to now?" A investment, remembers a business card, Mr. O stopped boasting, and then for his payday, As if conversing with someone, he gestured with his arms. He circled around the paper-thin walls of A Investments, wondering what's inside. Air? Fierce air? Freezing air? No ordinary air. O's bloodshot eyes, red-hot telephone, his disheveled body looking as if it might combust. O's name was inscribed on the chair out on a bottle cap. It was like a dream. Handsome O was having a jolly life going through the ledger, recording addresses and names one by one. He had the whole office to himself, with a sign, Research Division, at the door, and he had covered all 4 walls with paintings on graph paper, none of which were really art. Spider. If you analyze those things long enough, you'll be able to guess more or less. Tally up then. Tally up. Then money doesn't seem like money. It's not money, graph paper? Graph paper? Yes, and what about the total sum? I feel like painting again. However, it was difficult for O to endure his work without it destroying him. If not alcohol, art? O let everything hang out. Likewise, he, Spider, shuts down in front of O and the world. Why? Because I'm a spider. I'm getting as thin as a pencil. No blood flow through my veins. Mind's still there even when it's not thinking. Clogged mind, useless ideas, never exit the spider. Spider never look out, drunk, confused. The room looks like a traditional pointed sock. His wife because she's a spider. I do like this, that he puts like this sequence of words and to mirror the main character's confusion and how he's feeling. O stopped jotting down the addresses and names and offered him a cigarette. Then the door opened, cutting through the smoke. At closing hours, some fat man dashed in like a horse. The fatty gentleman greeted O, slim O with a deep voice, and the fatty gentleman with a soft voice chatted away. Is the director out? Yes, we're just over 200 clients. That's plenty. He may arrive earlier. I'll get there an hour early. Yes, and yes, and yes, and yes, I see. Well, you're going now? After the brief exchange, the fatty gentleman threw him, Spider, a glance, turned his head as if he were about to leave, then threw another glance at him. He, the spider, I wonder what would happen if I said hello. He hesitated, then on impulse bowed to the fatty gentleman. How inappropriate. The fatty gentleman accepted his bow, then left, grinning. What an insult. Even while he was trying to remember who the fatty gentleman was, his mocking reply, "How are things?" was ringing in his ears. What did he mean by "how are things"? Now, who is he? Right. The fatty gentleman was the owner of Cafe R at the banquet hall, where his wife worked. His wife had returned to him 3 months ago. He said she'd returned to keep him fed and alive. When he got the loan, 101, he stood his wife before Fatty and closed the deal with his oval-shaped seal. Just because today is today, he couldn't have possibly forgotten the humiliation he felt when he saw Fatty dressed in a yukata, looking down his nose at him. But before he recognized Fatty, he unknowingly bowed his head to him. Now the memory of Fatty must seep into the marrow of his bones. With his dark, obsessive disposition, it doesn't make sense that he would bow to him unknowingly. Disgusting. What's my excuse? Shit, fine, I won't blame myself, I promise. Yet his cheeks were burning up and his eyes got teary. Spider, I am a spider for sure. Know that you are sucking the life out of your wife who's getting skinny like a cigarette holder. I'm a spider. My mouth reeks and my wife doesn't she also suck me dry? Take a look, my bruised shaved chin, my sunken eyes, my skinny, near malnourished body. My wife's a spider, she couldn't be anything else. Spider and spider, spider and spider, sucking on each other, where are they headed? Why are they becoming so scrawny? One morning a bone poked through her skin. His wife's palm-sized forehead perspirated. He placed his hand on her forehead, then callously stepped on her. Around midnight his wife let out a squeal like a mouse. Crinkled, then opened up like a drawstring pouch the next morning. She bloomed like a castor bean, a garish flower. Their room flooded every night and rubbish piled up in a matter of 2 days. His wife took a big load of garbage out late morning, 4 in the afternoon. He returned after dumping the garbage out in the field for her. His wife was becoming thin as a rail. The flower was sadistic like metal. Sadistic spider, shut the door. He'd put a cap on the life, stopped all habitual human relations, and he'd shut down. From all friends, from all relations, from all hopes, from all greed, from all profanities. He could only get hysterical in his room. He licked whatever he wanted as he would seaweed. The light bulb easily burnt out from his panting. Every night the room got weary, caused a ruckus, and gradually got ill. But the room toughed it out. Room swooned, the world outside, no matter how long it waited for him. It didn't go out. He only watched light march by through a small glass window, palm-sized, but night quickly shut down even such a tiny hole. No. Sometimes I don't even know what's being read in this book. That's just how Yi-Sang is, honestly. Sometimes I also don't know what the hell he's talking about, especially on the poems. It's very confusing reading because the way he formulates the way the character is feeling, you know, it's strange, very strange. Let me just, oops, hold on. He's a strange little fella, just like the Limbus is saying. Oh, lowered the window shutters as if he couldn't bear to see him, the spider, looking embarrassed. Let's go out, but he, the spider, wanted to return to his room without leaving the office. 6-1 rental. Nothing else but a room, a comfy room, I only wish. How do you know Fatty? I just do. What do you mean just? I just do. Are you too close? Certainly not, so what does he do? He's a gambler. He's invested 10,000 won through our firm. The country bumpkin wants to be a hotshot. Cafe R appeared to be Fatty's side gig. Tomorrow night, at Investments would hold a year-end party for their clients on the 3rd floor of Cafe R, and O was in charge of the preparations. So later, O stopped by the banquet hall at Cafe R. First, they had tea. Music flowed out from a turntable next to the Christmas tree. His fur coat, long like a traditional outer robe, his oiled hair, his gold watch, his jewel-studded tie-pin, O's entire garb irritated him to no end. How did he get so sleazy? No, how did I end up like this? O was a con artist. He cleaned everyone out, then chased them off with no more than bus fare to their names. 30,000 to 1,000,000 won. Women couldn't keep their hands off him. O advised the spider to make the most of his youth like him, and not aimlessly loiter about. O's move talk. How? I have no clue. I've fallen so far behind O. Yet O's shrewd boasting sounded like a pure lie, so he couldn't bring himself to feel envious even if he was, as there was something that didn't make sense about it all. Last spring, O was in Incheon. 10 years, their innocent friendship, their dreams, days of youth were a beautiful memory. In early spring, with nothing yet in bloom, Spider, in poor health, walked with O along the mountain trail and listened to what O urgently had to say. Unexpectedly, O's father had lost his entire fortune of 1,000,000 won, and the final auction had ended the day before. O pulled from his pocket a desperate note from his elderly father, a rice speculator who had placed his last strand of hope on O out of several of his children. O couldn't betray his father. O wept. His father begged O to give up his dream of becoming an artist in this time of crisis, a mutual dream of O and his spiders. It was the first and the last confession O had to spill. At the time, he, the spider, was just waiting for his health to improve and spring to arrive. He also had secretly given up on painting a while back. He only stared at the wet paint that will soon dry and crack. Then a cyclone came. Come see my life. He laughed at O's summons and went to visit him in Incheon. 4-4, bustling waterfront, the office of K Investments. His ill health still showing in his eye. He watched in disbelief O's impeccable professional conduct and lamented the new day about to arrive. Except for where the phone was, every space was filled with graph paper. The cheap, cracked sheets were painted up and down with red and blue lines. O's face changed every minute of the day. At night, he followed O and went bar hopping, still late. His spider body was getting thinner by the day, but strangely enough, O could get right back up at 6 in the morning, roll around his bloodshot eyes, his red cheeks looking fine as ever, and never fail to show up at his waterfront office by 9 o'clock. O's tireless body, together with his boundless energy, inevitably appeared to be channeling some kind of force. In the afternoon, O's depressed father played the Kaiyangum, all that remained of his fortune, and happily jotted things down in his small notebook whenever he received a call from his Whenever he received a call from his only trustworthy son. Though the open sliding door he could sometimes spot at Seoul Incheon train, he put on O's fur coat and strolled around Womi In's Island and lay down flat on his back on the grass between the fruit trees not fully in bloom. Dismayed that his ill health still persisted between the two trees not fully in bloom, sorry, I repeated myself. The view of the sea, waves crashed onto the muddy shores, and the day grew darker and darker. Every day at 4 in the afternoon, O, whistling, came to find him on the same grassy spot. Under the tarp, they listened to the swaying portable radio, drank tea, watched the deer go by, then had ice cream. On the long sea bank, watching the clam diggers, and ended up the evening jovially together reading newspapers at O's place. A month went on like this. May, he learned to sing a folk song, Follow the Boat, on the same grassy spot. The big plans deeply seated in his heart dissipated out the sea one by one. When he returned from Incheon to his room, carrying with him endless doubts about life, his wife was nowhere to be found. At last, his wife, letting him know what he really is, he is really a rebellious kid who walks a lost road to push life away. But when he wants to escape, again, defiant youth politics, he phones the tourist bureau. It was only in his room that the ship heading out to the ocean blew its horn and returned to the port. While he was sweating, the summer passed, but before the sweat dried up on his back, his wife returned anxiously. Looking like a tattered postcard stamp, returned to sender. She said she wanted to support him, a starving artist buried in old journals. The return postcard, half of which was missing, he closed his eyes and smelled the distinct scent of her flesh. He'd needlessly put the effort into the story of his everyday life. It has ended. Feed me, I'll eat, get a haircut, a cheap perm iron. He could lounge around all day in his underwear. Cafe R, 101 he borrowed from Fatty in Yucatan. Then he ran to O with the money in his hand, for O's plot was ringing in his ears. Bring me 101, I'll put down 100, and within 3 months I'll give you back 500. O sounded totally convincing. Out of her own guilt, his wife kept quiet even though she knew he had taken the money. He was conned. He stared at the boat schedule in the paper. O wrote a few times and highly praised his spider life. O came to sue. It had been 3 months. Last month. He told me to dump my wife, even though he didn't refer to her as my wife, despite the fact that she was the one who was supplying O in Incheon with every bit she earned. Oh, that deal. O's priceless deep friendship had clearly erased any memory about the 500 won he was supposed to hand over last month. A few days ago, O's delightful letter burrowed into his closed-off life. He slept through fall and winter. He was in the middle of his sleep when the letter arrived. Hey buddy, how could you take in that ruined girl and live with her again? O's useless attempt at stirring things up irritated him. And it wasn't Christmas. Let me take a good look at O's guilt-free face, his splendid face, O of the past. That's it. I'll draw a circle around today's date before things really get out of control. And of course, his wife didn't know a thing. That story starting to remind me a lot of my father, and I don't like it. That night, his wife fell down the stairs. It was unsightly. He had a drink with O, whom he would no longer read or even recognize. They didn't drink at the cafe his wife worked at, but then he couldn't find any other place that differed even the slightest bit from Cafe R, and was horrified to see so many of his wives. What an insane world. All these places were set up exactly the same, so it was hard to tell one from another, O says. You can tell by which girls are going to which cafes. At 2 in the afternoon, men poured into them, and he, Spider, had already heard about the intriguing lives of the barmaids who received the men one at a time. Those who played their husbands, his wife, reminded him of the duty towards her, and she had reproached him several times for not coming out to greet her after work. But he worried about being seen. But by whom? Which is to say, the ugly, flat-faced word. He looked around the indistinguishable makeup-crusted faces. The only way you could tell them apart was whether they had on high or low quality makeup. I'm sure all men say this. In the private room of the cafe, you look just like my wife, but my wife hardly used any makeup. My wife liked freckles, her itty-bitty nose, her lips thinner than any thin lips. What if your made-up face looks like my wife's and no makeup? Forgive me, but why is my wife so frail? What's making her so thin? Your fault. You really don't know? I know. But take a look at this woman. She's as plump as well-reasoned dough. Oh, whispered into my ears. It gets unbearably hot when she sits right next to you. This Miss Fatty is Mayumi. She's a Yankee pig, but she's marvelous, you know? I know, the story of the goose that laid the golden eggs. She's a pot of gold. In just one night, she makes 3-1, 4-1, 5-1. She's like a pawn shop that lends out money for nothing. Oh, she's my beloved Mayumi. Oh, this is taking a while. 30 pages is a lot to read in one sitting, and I have my friend waiting for me. I'm sorry, Toy. You know what? It's been 4 hours. We're gonna stop here. I know I promised 30 pages, but Yithang's work is a complex little thing. And I don't think we're gonna take any more of this. You know what? Yeah. How many more of these? This is the longest story. Does it just end here? I just skipped like over 15 pages. And biographical notes. There's characters talking. Yeah. I think I was in the final story too. Hold on. Because yeah, this is not my cup of tea really, and it's not that fun to read. It's I don't like these characters. Right. Let's finish this, shall we? I'll promise to read The Stranger starting tomorrow, so it is what it is. So thank you all so much for sticking around for this long. If you like the stream, please recommend it to your friends, and if you didn't, please recommend it to your enemies. If you really like it and wish to support the channel, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe, and follow on Twitch. It helps a lot. With that said, good night and bye-bye.